long.
Recording in progress.
Get in, on both ends.
Excellent. Good evening, everybody. We are going to begin our meeting. Welcome to the Yarmouth Select Board meeting of August 11th, 2026. If you would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We are going to start with our 6 p.m. agenda item, which is announcements. Is there anybody from the board or staff that would like to make an announcement? Yes, Bob.
I have an announcement, and this is with respect to the Cape Cod Gateway Airport is going to hold a public roundtable discussion on noise abatement, and I just wanted to give the specifics on that. It will be held on Wednesday, September 16 at 6 p.m., and it is going to be held at the Barnstable High School's Knights Auditorium, and Yarmouth residents are encouraged to attend. The discussions are going to surround recent initiatives of the airport to try to mitigate noise and what concerns local residents have with airport noise. And that's part of a broader effort we've had trying to work with the Select Board through the Cape Cod Gateway Airport to limit noise for local residences. And keep track of the town's website. This will be all over it, and we'll have plenty more announcements, but I wanted to get that out there. The date's been set.
Excellent. Hopefully our representatives will be able to attend. Any other announcements? Anybody on the board have any announcements? Okay, seeing nobody, we're going to go to the public. Let's go online first. I see Mr. Glynn. Good evening, Mr. Glynn.
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
Oh, what a nice new dapper-looking picture you've got there, Mr. Glynn.
Yeah, I'm the artist formerly known as Zoom user as the picture now.
Yes, you are. You have seriously upgraded.
Yeah. Just to update you, or the rest of the committee, the chair and the DY liaison, select board liaison to the DY school committee met with the school committee last night along with Dennis representatives from the select board. And they put together, so first thing was that I am reappointed as the liaison from the school committee to the select board. And so speaking, just to update you on the rest of the board on what we did last night, which was to form a working subcommittee. And it looked like Dennis was amenable to it. And the superintendent is going to put together a timeline and a breakdown of what the members, what that board might look like, and then we'll get subcommittee. The timeline is, not known yet. So, but I will update you as possible. But you guys that were there, or you ladies that were there, were can update. I just didn't know if the board was if you were gonna update the board at any time. So that's all I have. Have a great evening. Thanks very much, and have a great meeting.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Guerin.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Christopher Guerin, South Yarmouth. Congratulations and thanks to the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce and its Parker's River Beach concert series this summer. The large parking lot last night, which was a beautiful evening, was full, forcing the overflow to park on South Shore Drive and Pine Grove Road. So that was really nice to see. And given this great run of beach weather, the South Shore beaches, the parking lots have been full. So that's good news. The Select Board will apparently discuss and possibly vote tonight whether to support or oppose the Massachusetts Municipal Association's letter to Senator Sear opposing certain aspects of his duplex bill at 9 p.m. according to the posted agenda item. Hopefully the board will discuss the following issues. Senator Sear's duplex plan makes no sense if Yarmouth's homeowners replace their single-family homes with a duplex, thereby potentially doubling the number of residences. Yarmouth is currently under a drought warning. How can Yarmouth potentially double the number of residential houses when it currently can't supply enough water for people to water their gardens? What about the sewer system's capacity for handling this potential population increase? Mass DOT has no plans to widen Route 6, Route 28, or scenic Route 6A. Therefore, the roads won't handle the increased traffic. Jeff Colby, Yarmouth Public Works Director, thoroughly described Mass DOT's vital replacement plans for the Route 28 Bass River Bridge last week in the Cape Cod Times. Yet the bridge will still only have 2 lanes for vehicular traffic. Massachusetts utility bills are skyrocketing, reportedly in the top 5 of most expensive states in the USA. How will these duplexes be heated, cooled, and powered year-round with unaffordable utility bills? The Cape's population is predicted to collapse by 17%, according to an October 16, 2025 Cape Cod Times news report, and the new canal bridges, when completed, won't increase the Cape's population either. Workers will continue to commute from the mainland Massachusetts and not move to the Cape. Town Administrator Rittenauer has said during past meetings that the Cape student population is declining significantly in the towns around the Cape, except for Yarmouth, which will remain steady. This declining population evidence actually counters Senator Sears' fears of a future housing shortage. Hopefully, the Select Board will discuss and vote to oppose Senator Sears' duplex bill because Yarmouth is facing a water shortage, has insufficient road structure, unaffordable utility bills, and a collapsing population that counters Senator Sears' fears of a future housing shortage. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, and have a good evening.
You as well, Mr. Guerin. Thank you for your comments. Okay, seeing nobody else on Zoom, is there anybody here in the public that would like to address the board? Dawn?
Thanks, Tracy. So my name is Dawn. I'm a South Yarmouth resident. Oh, sorry, that's echoing. I lost my son to fentanyl 8 years ago. I am responsible for the purple flags out front. Thank you so much for allowing that every year. But I'm here today just to talk about my event that I have annually at Smugglers Beach, which Bob has the flyers for that. But it is, every August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day, and for the last 6 years, I've been holding that event at Smugglers Beach. So this year, it is August 31st at 5:30, where we have some guest speakers. There is a resource fair there, promotes different organizations, different grief groups, different detox centers, any information you need to help a loved one that's struggling. We also have a angel memorial that comes with me. There's probably about 75 of the local families that have lost a child or a loved one to substances. I line those up on the boardwalk, and I give everybody an opportunity to get up and say their loved ones' names, just to remember them, to let everybody know also that they're never forgotten. So again, it is August 31st this year, which is a Monday evening at 5:30 at Smugglers Beach, and I just want to thank you so much. And I also just want to let you know that it is sponsored by the Nicholas G. Exarch Memorial Fund for the insurance purposes, so thank you for allowing me again.
Thank you, Dawn, and we thank you for all your work on this, your work on our substance committee.
Yes.
The work in making sure that they're not forgotten, the work in making sure that we continue to stay aware of the issue in our community and work towards finding solutions, and for the flags that you put out front and
Yes.
everything that you do. You certainly carry on Trevor's memory and all the work that you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to also mention I'm on the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee at the Yarmouth Police Department too, and I am responsible for the purple flags that you will see on most cruisers and fire and paramedics throughout most of the Capes. So every department has purple ribbons tied to them, so it is a conversation piece to start a conversation, to let somebody know that they're not alone and they're not struggling alone, and that there is hope for somebody. Where there's breath, there's hope. So thank you.
Absolutely, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you. See you on the 31st. Thanks, Tracy.
It's a wonderful event, very moving. Is there anybody else here that would like to address the board? Yes, ma'am. Please go to the microphone. Yes, we'd be able to hear you, but the people at home can't. If you just identify
Hi.
yourself for the record.
My name is Donna Witter, my husband Dave. We purchased a home on Beacon Street back in 15. We've been there for a long time now. We have an issue that came up. It's not been approved yet, but the people at 176 Beacon Street had purchased a home. They live in Connecticut. We thought with the intention of moving here, and they decided to open a Airbnb. So now we have an issue with 2 dead-end streets, a bunch of senior citizens. Nobody knows the difference, and they never registered to be an Airbnb. So with cars coming and going, I figured something was up. So I come over to the health department. She did since register, since Brian had brought it to her attention. But I really don't want to live across from an Airbnb. I don't know what the value of my home will be if I want to sell it, and what the depreciation will be. I don't think anybody here wants to live across from an Airbnb. So I'm determined to do whatever I can to let people know. People in the area I've talked to, they're all senior citizens, most of them. We have small families. I don't begrudge anybody, but she had it listed as a 3-bedroom. It's not a 3-bedroom. She was having up to 9 people in there, and she would have parties. You could have parties of up to 20 people. On Beacon Street, you can't park 20 cars on Beacon Street. It just doesn't fit. So I'm asking if we could not allow this to happen in our neighborhood. I'm afraid. I'm afraid for the simple reason you don't know who's coming, you don't know who's going, and in the future, very near future, if you allow one to be there, you're going to have more. Because as the elderly die or have to move, you're going to find that people are doing this from all different states. They don't contribute anything to this community whatsoever. And I don't think that I don't think we supersede all these people. We live in this neighborhood. We've been here for years. And I don't think somebody coming in has the right to just open up a business. So that's where I stand, and I'd like the building department or whoever else, they need to understand the people in the community. They walk their dogs in the street because we don't have sidewalks. This is how small we are.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. I know you submitted a letter. We've given it to Mr. Whitner. He'll disperse it to the board and to the committees that have basically jurisdiction in legislating or making the rules. I know the planning board's worked hard, as I told you before the meeting, to put some rules in place to make sure that things are kept under control, but hopefully they'll read your letter, and
Thank you.
thank you.
Madam Chair, can I request that the town administrator make a little checklist for those of us on the board of when something turns to an Airbnb, what committees and certifications and permissions they need? Because I find I don't know all of that, and it would be very helpful to know that.
Right. Oh, I think what she was talking about was the Board of Health. They register with the Board of Health. I think one of the biggest problems we have, and I explained we can't really get into it tonight, is, they're supposed to pay taxes to the state. The state doesn't really work with the town in terms of giving us the lists so we can make sure everybody's registered, that's collecting and paying taxes. It's just, there's a big disconnect there, but there's a lot of issues around that we have worked towards trying to find a good solution to in the past. So we'll see what the Planning Board and the Board of Health have to say.
Okay. So it looks like some people may have online.
Is there anybody else here from the public that would like to speak?
Well, there's a little hand up,
Yeah,
Liz
I
is
see
saying.
it.
Okay.
Tom?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Couple of things I call pet peeves. One of the items happens to be on your agenda tonight is Buck Island Road in regards to that four-way stop sign that you want to put down Town Brook Road. I don't see that doing any good, put a stop sign down there. But I do see that the lane markings on Higgins Crow Road. You get the 2 lanes in each direction, east and west. All right. lately, and not lately, I've seen a lot of it, people are playing chicken with each other. They get up there, well, someone's in the left side, and all of a sudden starts going forward, and someone comes on the right side, and they're fighting to get into one lane.
Tom, where
If I think-
are you talking about? I'm sorry, I lost you. I don't know where two lanes are in Higgins Kroll.
Not Higgins Kroll, same street the police station's on.
That's Higgins Kroll.
Okay, Buck Island
Okay, Buck Island. Okay.
and Higgins Kroll, the lights,
At that intersection on Buck Island you're talking about.
right.
Okay.
My suggestion would be to mark the left lane, left turn only, and put the stencil on the road to show it with an arrow. And the right lane would be straight or right turn only. I see it a lot in Western Mass, all right? Central Mass where I've been, the same way going eastbound. All right, you've had accidents there in the past. I almost got hit 2 days ago. Almost took the right side of my car off. All right, just to all of a sudden speeding, passing me in an intersection, and just to get in front of me. All right, I think it's a safety issue. I know you've had a tremendous amount of accidents this year in town. The other thing would be, and I haven't seen much of, is enforcement. I mean, people don't believe in stop signs or even red lights. Right turn on red, it's just an excuse to just go right through and take a right-hand turn. All right, I happen to see this when I'm driving, maybe other drivers have seen it, but this here, someone's gonna get killed. One of these days, you're gonna have it because of it. I think that, I don't know what it takes to put a stencil down on the road that shows an arrow going left turn only, or right turn straight on the other side. I think it will hopefully eliminate the idea of playing chicken with each other with two cars going in one spot. The other pet peeve I have is East Main Street coming into West Yarmouth on Route 28. Down where the proposal, the state wants to put a rotary. The rotary would be the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. There's another area right there with 2 lanes. And they're fighting with each other to get into 1 lane, and sometimes it's 3. Because you got people coming from Iena Road and 2 people coming off at the same time. So you got 3 cars fighting for 1 lane. Why don't you just block the side in with the lanes on the road and make it 1 lane? You know, it might make traffic a little bit smoother. Okay, so those are my suggestions. I think that, because one of these days, I don't want to get hit. I already had 1 accident already when I wasn't even in my car. My car got pretty well smashed in over a doctor's office about 3 weeks ago. And I wasn't even in the car. So, that I'd just like to bring your attention. If not, I would like to see more enforcement. A patrol during the day, out there doing stops and writing tickets. That might be deterrent to people. If it starts costing them in the insurance, they might start slowing down and start stopping at stop signs or even red lights. All right?
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
Okay. Seeing nobody else, we're moving on from,
There is somebody up there
it's still him. It's,
allowed to talk. That's Joe,
no.
Michael Miller.
Okay, we're moving on to recognition of retirements. I see Andy and, well, I don't see Susan. Is Susan here? Nope, but. Okay. All right. So we had a little
That's Michael.
fun fest with Andy the last time he was here because we were fortunate enough to have Tara be appointed in his place, and so we gave Andy a lot of kudos, but he deserves his own time and his own recognition. So I don't know, Bob, did you want to speak, or, okay, yes, please.
Have our finance director.
Yes,
Jen.
wonderful.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jennifer Mullen, Finance Director. I don't know if people know this, but Andy and I go way back. We used to work in Chatham together years ago. I've known Andy for a very long time. And there's so many good things that I can say about Andy, you know, over the years. When we worked together in Chatham, we worked under Bill Hinchy, so we're always, you know, talking about, this is what Bill would say or whatever. So we have that connection. And I know Bill was here, so if anybody knows Bill Hinchy, they know what I'm talking about.
How can you forget him?
So of course, he made his way onto the podium tonight, and he doesn't know that. And then over the years, I've kept in touch with Andy, and every time I called him, he would always answer the phone, and even if he didn't know it was me. I got married, changed my name, didn't know who I was. I had to explain how my name changed. But he's always there. There's so many nice things I can say about him. He's compassionate, he's smart, he works with you, he is a problem solver. He knows his stuff, and he is a forward thinker. And those are, a lot of things that I've seen, professionally. Personally, he's compassionate. He, feels for other people, definitely, has empathy, just a really deep character. And so this is really special for me because I've known him for so long. So when I came back to Yarmouth, it was just so nice to be able to end out his career with him in the assessing office and really reconnect with him. And he's acted as my therapist. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Does he charge you?
No, and that's hard because therapists make a lot of money, so I've been getting a free service.
Maybe it's going to be his retirement.
Yeah, exactly. So he needs to come back, and he will come back. But he has really made a good plan, with his retirement. He's been talking about it for a while, and succession planning. So he really cares about the town of Yarmouth and wanted to really set up the town for success. And that really tells you what type of person he is. And because of that, I think we all benefit from that. And hopefully he'll come back and say hi. And I just, I wanted to say I'm just so appreciative to work with Andy for so many years, but I'm also appreciative that, our relationship will continue personally even after he retires. I'm very lucky for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, I'm going to read this citation, but every time I read the citation, I have to say that I never fail that it does the due justice that really is deserving of so many of our staff members, and especially to Andy. I guess I'll reiterate what we were able to say the last time, and I think Jennifer touched on it, is, we talk about development and growth and, professionalism, all of those things that are things that our residents truly benefit from. And the last meeting that we had when we appointed Tara in your position, we reflected a lot upon how she was always with you. You were always teaching her and making sure that this type of transition was going to be smooth for our community. And that's, again, what Jennifer said is just kind of indicative of who you are. I mean, for many years, we're grateful for Chatham for all these great people, first of all. But in the many years that I've had dealings with you from this board, it's been nothing but professional and cordial and wonderful. Really, you're always prepared. You're very knowledgeable. We've worked through a lot of issues, and a lot of people come to you in times of need, really, when they have problems paying their taxes, and we've worked towards raising limits for veterans and for other things that you've taken all of those issues and just really professionally done a wonderful job. So I'm going to read this into the record, and I'll let the other board members speak after. The Town of Yarmouth Select Board official citation. Be it known that the Town of Yarmouth hereby recognizes Andrew Machado on his retirement as Director of Assessing, effective August 14th, 2026, and for the dedicated service to the Town of Yarmouth. And be it further known that the Town of Yarmouth extends its sincere gratitude for 11 years of tireless service in the Assessing Division and the Finance Department. Your leadership, knowledge, and attention to detail have been invaluable benefit to our community. This citation signed by the Chair of the Yarmouth Select Board on this 11th day of August in the year of our Lord 2026.
So I'm lead off.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry, I try to rotate back and forth.
look at all those accolades, huh? Compassionate, empathy.
Who knew?
Forward thinking. Yeah, you didn't know about this, did you? The one that I'm impressed with, very much so, is therapist. That is impressive. What are you doing on Tuesday nights in Yarmouth?
We can discuss that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to put you to use. No, I think the last time we did this when we honored. I mean, it was basically a celebration of a promotion, but also an opportunity for us to really sing your praises as well. I mean, everything that we said the other night, we pretty much ditto again. I think it's important at this moment to sometimes remind ourselves of the sacrifice that is involved in doing this job and doing it at a high level. And you've done it at a high level. And it takes a lot of time, it's a lot of energy. Sometimes it doesn't even look like it takes a lot of time and energy, particularly the way you have done your job. Because you make it look easy, but we know that it takes a tremendous amount of dedication and hard work to continually operate at a high level, which you have done throughout your career. So, and that involves sacrifice. It involves sacrifices from family, friends, and obviously the sacrifices for yourself. And the reality is that the service that you provide to our residents, you've performed it at such a high level that throughout the community. Typically the assessor is not one of the most well-loved people in the community, but the reality is that you leave here with pretty high poll ratings, and people here hold you and your department and the people that work there in very high regard. And we know that you've worked on and developed a very good succession plan. And we're very pleased with the transition and the way it's moving. And we just wish you nothing but the best, Andy. You deserve a good break, some good fishing, and I would avoid the therapy as much as I could in my retirement. And I don't see you really retiring much at all. You've got so much to offer and so much to give, and we know we're going to see you around. And again, we all appreciate, on behalf of the people of Yarmouth, we appreciate everything that you've done for us.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Liz next, and then I'll come back.
And thank you. I haven't had as many years working with you as the rest of the select board, but clearly we're in good shape, and people aren't knocking down the doors complaining. So thank you for all of the leadership you've provided, and have a good time, whatever you do now.
Thank you.
Great.
I'd just like to say a very big thank you for the professionalism of your work, and of course, as we noted last time, for your doing that important thing that we all need to do, which is to get ready for another generation so that the work goes on, gets better, people know what they're doing. I really have admired your work as a mentor. And it was only tonight when I heard Jennifer and how wonderful you were and how irreplaceable you were that I realized that was self-defense. We wouldn't have let you go if you didn't have somebody to take over. So thank you for that advanced scheming. Much appreciated. And thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
Andy, we're going to miss you. You sure you want to go? I mean, you're leaving us in wonderful hands with Tara. Thank you so much. I mean, your mentoring has been really something. Tara's been, from the time I've come on board as a select board member, wherever you've been, Tara hasn't been far behind. And that's wonderful. There's a lot of leaders out there that are not willing to share, and you clearly do. And you've clearly taken mentorship to another level. And you've created an apartment that is excellent, and you're putting it in good hands with someone who's going to continue to keep it right at that wonderful level that it is now. I know there are recognitions for you statewide. You've just done a superb job, and we're going to miss you so much. But have fun in retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
I intend
you.
to.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say a few thank yous. I promised Jennifer that I wouldn't go as long as Tara did 2 weeks ago, so I'll keep it brief. But I just wanted to thank, obviously, the board. I'm not able to do any of this by myself. It's a very collaborative environment here, always has been, and I've enjoyed it. Clearly, the finance director, Jen Mullen, and before her, Ed Centio. I want to thank both of them. Obviously, Bob Rittenauer. And I do want to thank Bill Hitchie for bringing me here. And lastly, I want to thank the staff. I've done none of this on my own. I've always had a great staff, surrounded myself with great people, and they will continue to shine. So I want to thank you all for this, and I will be around.
Great, good to hear, Andy. Thank you so much.
And also, Madam Chair, we really can't let him go also without at least acknowledging that long string that Yarmouth held as having either the first tax rate in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts approved or right up at the top. And I just want to say, working through the process, the impeccable leadership and preparation that it takes throughout the year to be ready to be the first certified community, it really is a tremendous amount of work, and I think the whole assessing staff and Andy's leadership really gets that award. So I just wanted to mention that as well. You've been a tremendous pleasure to work with, so thank you.
That's wonderful, and I think that, people should know that how much that helps us, being able to get those tax bills out and be able to have the cash flow that we need to keep everything flowing is, when you can't set your tax rate and you can't start sending out, and it's backs everything up. So we're really fortunate to have had your leadership, and
Madam
thank you.
Chair?
Yes.
I do see Bob Lawton.
No, he's not.
So
No, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Well,
Plus,
thank you for explaining it. I
it's
don't
not
understand
public
it.
comment anymore anyway, so.
No. Okay.
Okay, so that's wonderful. Mary, would you like to say a few words about Susan before we talk about her?
I would. Thank you very much. Mary Maslowski, Town Clerk. Unfortunately, Susan wasn't able to attend tonight's Select Board meeting, but I would like to express my heartfelt thanks for all of her work on behalf of the citizens of Yarmouth. In 2015, Sue decided to make a career change and take a position as a financial assistant in the Collector Treasurer's office. A year later, she was promoted to the role of Principal Office Assistant. Then in February of 2019, Susan applied for and was promoted to Assistant Town Clerk, and also served admirably as the acting town clerk from June through mid-September 2020 until I was appointed and hired as town clerk. I am so very thankful personally for her service to the town of Yarmouth, and particularly for her 6.5 years of service in the town clerk's office. Her hard work helped make my transition seamless. On the occasion of her retirement, I just want to express my heartfelt thanks for her dedicated service and to wish her the best of luck on her next chapter.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
And, I just wanted to add something a little on that. A lot of folks might not know this about Susan Regan, but I worked with her 35 years ago in the town of Mashpee, where she was already a well-established elections professional, a real sharpshooter. The skills that she brought to our community have been tremendous, and I think in addition to the time she's worked here, it's really congratulations on a long career in municipal government on Cape Cod, and it's been a real contribution, so congratulations to Sue.
Thank you so much for saying that, Bob. Again, the residents of Yarmouth have benefited from Susan's service, and I'm extremely grateful for it. Every time I've had any interaction with Susan, again, it's been nothing but pleasant and professional and wonderful, and it's not an easy thing working in town hall. A lot of times there's a lot of unhappy people that you have to deal with, and I think that the work that she's done, especially as Bob mentioned, in elections and around elections, and they take great pride in making sure that every person allowed to vote is able to vote, and she's worked really, really hard right alongside Mary since she's been here. But even before that, we were fortunate to have her leadership as the acting town clerk for a while, so she's a highly qualified person, and we've just been extremely grateful for her service. I'm going to read this, and then I will let the board members speak. The Town of Yarmouth, Yarmouth Select Board, official citation. Be it known that the Town of Yarmouth hereby recognizes Susan M. Regan on her retirement as Assistant Town Clerk, effective August 14th, 2026, and for her dedicated service to the Town of Yarmouth. And be it further known that the Town of Yarmouth extends its sincere thanks and gratitude for almost 11 and a half years of tireless service in the Town Clerk's office. Your knowledge, attention to detail, and commitment to transparency have been instrumental in maintaining our town's operation. This citation is duly signed by the Chair of the Yarmouth Select Board on the 11th day of August in the year of our Lord 2026. So that's wonderful. I noticed you guys picked the same exact date. Is there something going on there? No, I'm just kidding. So Friday will be the last day for both of them, but until then, so if anybody's here, I don't know. You're off on Friday? Okay, all right. So I'll go to Liz first.
Well, yes, I got very well acquainted with the clerk's office during my many campaigns in a short amount of time. So it was wonderful to work with Susan and I just really appreciated any time I came in and all the questions from a newbie. She's right there, ready to answer them, and of course Mary too. But yes, thank you, Susan, from Liz.
Great. Joyce?
I really appreciated Susan. She was always a wonderful presence and a knowledgeable presence. I was particularly impressed after the redesign of a lot of the sign-in etiquette for town meetings, that she managed, beyond the technology, to think of something that sheared another 6 minutes off it. So, very smart.
Dorcas?
Susan, I hope you have a fantastic retirement. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss that smiling face and that "how can I help you" at the window. She was always there, always ready to help, and I'm going to miss you. You made it pleasant to go to the town clerk's office. So thank you very much.
Mark?
Yeah, I too want to express my thanks to Susan. She's been an MVP in town hall. She's been like a cleanup hitter. I'm going to use a lot of baseball metaphors. She's been like a cleanup hitter. She really has been a real strength in the office. And I think having Susan and Mary in that office, that's a very powerful town clerk's office. And I'm not worried about how the office is going to continue. But I really am. I think we're all going to not only miss her presence, her being with us, her calmness, her steadfast hand on, you name the issue, you name the crisis, you name the problem. She's really a source of strength. And with the therapist that we have now that's retired, the two of them could make quite a tandem, and we're bringing about calm almost to any situation. Now, Susan's been wonderful, and she's another big loss for the town. And but her presence, her mentorship, some of the newer folks that are coming in have learned a lot and have benefited enormously from her steady hand. So, Susan, good luck.
So I just want to say thank you for all the kind words. We certainly will miss her presence in the office. She has been an excellent assistant town clerk, and I don't think anyone truly appreciates it outside the town clerk world of what a role she played during COVID when she had to step up and be acting for those 3.5 months. So we have appreciated working with her. I've certainly appreciated working with her over the last 6.5 years or 6 years. And, she will certainly be missed, but she has certainly made impact on our other staff members as well. So as I said, I wish her nothing but the best in her next endeavors. So, and I'm a little jealous too, I will admit it freely.
Don't get any ideas, Mary.
Yeah, no, please.
Thank you very much, Susan, on behalf of not only the board, but on behalf of the citizens for your service, and we wish you the best. So, thank you. Okay, moving on to our 6:35 item. This is a dog hearing complaint, and we had opened the hearing previously. So the hearing is open, and there is a letter in our packet that I believe both parties wishes to extend one more time. Is that what I'm reading, Bob, to September 15th? So with the hearing being open, I'm going to ask for a motion to continue it to September 15th.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We will put that back on our agenda. I noticed that you recommended a new round of notices, Bob, because we've extended
Yes.
it so long. Okay, so it'll be re-advertised?
That's correct.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to the 6:45 item. Jennifer Mullen is here, and we are going to talk about an interim loan, please.
Good evening. You have the paperwork as part of your packet, and I believe there's a folder for you all to
I'm
sign.
having a hard time hearing you, Jennifer.
I'm sorry. You received the paperwork as part of your packet, and there's a folder for you all to sign. And what this relates to is back in April of 2025, Article 14 for $5,050,000 was for PFAS for the wells of 10 and 11. It was on the IUP, the 2025 IUP. And this is the interim loan note, so we can start the work. We're borrowing the money from the Clean Water Trust at 0%. So I recommend having a vote or making a motion to accept the Clean Water Trust interim loan note per Article 14 for PFAS wells 10 and 11, and then sign the documents, and then we'll be well on our way.
I move that.
Second.
Is that sufficient motion, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, that we, do we need to, we've signed it, so it's here. Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I mean, how can you oppose 0%?
Really.
I'm happy
Thank
for
you.
that. Thank you for that. And
Thanks, Jen.
thank you for your work on getting that rate. All right, next we're going to pledge the license and inventory for Yarmouth Wine and Spirits. Good evening, sir. You can come right to the table and have a seat if you'd like. You're welcome. So in our packet here, we have evidence of insurance. This is not, there's no legal ad or abutters notification required in this pledge. So if you'd like to just introduce yourself for the record and let us know what it is that you're trying to achieve, that would be wonderful.
Good evening, thank you.
you.
My name is Petra Nickerson, representing the applicant before you this evening, Yarmouth Wine and Spirits, located at 484H Station Avenue, South Yarmouth. The business did execute a term note and line of credit from Rockland Bank in September of 2025. There was a procedural hiccup in that process, and that formal approval for the pledge of license and for inventory was not actually executed prior to executing the note. This discrepancy was discovered by the lender in its ordinary course of auditing post-cllosing. Neither myself nor my office was involved in that initial
Disclosure.
Yes. But
Okay.
that is sort of the fickle nature of my business, is that when you do make a mistake, and I have made them, you won't find out until about a year later in some instances.
Well, we're here now, and we're going to rectify it.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. So,
Hopefully everything's in order, and we ask that you vote to approve the pledge. Thank you.
perfect. Amy, any comments or questions on this application?
No, I think that we've covered it. There was no notification required, and it's only a vote that we need. It's procedural, so
Wonderful.
everything is in line. They have their insurance, they have tip certifications, we have all of the information that we need to complete their file.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Thank you for having everything in order. Is there a motion to approve the pledge of license and inventory?
So moved.
Second. Requested. Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you very much for being here this evening.
Thank you.
All right, presentation and vote regarding the Wall That Heals. And I see Mr. Seymour here, and I see Megan. If you would like to come forward. I know Megan has written a letter here that just for the public's knowledge, is the Cape and Islands Veterans Outreach has applied for the use of Parker's River Landing event space for 6 days in September. They've worked with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund to bring The Wall That Heals, a Vietnam Veterans Memorial replica, and Mobile Education Center to Yarmouth, one of only 2 stops in New England for this national exhibit. The Cape and Islands Veteran Outreach applied for the Tourism Revenue Preservation Grant in November of 2025 for this event before the Parker's River Landing event space use policy and fee schedule were adopted. This event is expected to draw more than 10,000 people to Yarmouth after the Labor Day weekend, providing a significant economic boost to our local hospitality industry. With this in mind, the Tourism Revenue Preservation Fund grant was awarded for the request of $25,000. With the adoption of the fee schedule in April of 2026, the cost to the Cape and Island Veteran Outreach for the use of Parker River Landing includes a $50 application fee, a $100 reservation fee, and $5,400 in licensing fee, and a $250 security deposit for a grand total of $5,800. The application fee received, leaving the balance of $5,700. Should the select board, the application fee received, should the select board grant the request of a 50% fee waiver or some variation thereof, I suggest waiving the security deposit and the reservation deposit, with the remainder of the payment being applied to the licensing fee. This would streamline accounting and eliminate the need to refund a security deposit payment. So with that, that was Megan's letter to us. And I guess I will let you introduce yourself and explain what it is that you're seeking.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Jim Seymour. I'm the Executive Director of the Cape and Islands Veterans Outreach. And it's an honor and pleasure to be with you this evening. First of all, before we go into the subject of tonight's meeting, I just want to thank the town of Yarmouth for continuously being pro-veteran. Your Memorial Day celebrations and all the other town events are amazing. I'm privileged and honored to live in Yarmouth and represent this organization. Before you tonight, we have the culmination of the approaching. I was in a meeting today, I think we're 34 days away or 35 days away from this event. A year in planning, a year in application. We competed with 133 communities in the United States to host this event. We were selected as one of 33, and the only one in Massachusetts and one of 2 in New England. We're collaborating with a bunch of very amazing community members, being co-chaired by a woman from Brewster, Debbie Robinson. She was supposed to join us tonight, but she must have got stuck in traffic. So we'll proceed on.
We're a little early, too.
Okay. I'll beg the forgiveness on behalf of the board.
Thank you.
All right. We anticipate approximately 8,000 to 10,000 people to attend this event. This event is over a 6-day period, and as you look at the schedule, it's going to arrive in the community on Tuesday through an escort. We're going to be rallying off-site and proceeding down into Yarmouth, down Station Ave, ideally down to 28 and turning right, or Wood Road turning right, depending on construction at that point. We're going to have all the school kids out on Station Ave on both sides celebrating it. And there'll be a motorcade procession in with state police and local police assets, along with a 50-foot trailer that will serve as the host of the event. It contains all the panels that will make a 3/4 replica of The Wall That Heals. It will arrive down in front of Parker's River Landing, take a left, and come in and be positioned in there. I have to say, honestly, when talking with the foundation that is the agency that runs this, Parker's River Landing was a huge piece of their consideration of our being one of the first 5 to be asked to consider being a host. It played a significant role in that. And when I considered it, I called Bob and asked him, what do you think? He said, it's not done yet. I said, I know. What do you think? He says, let's look at it. And then I talked to a bunch of others, and we figured out that it was going to be possible, it's going to be close, and obviously it's absolutely an amazing space. It's set up to do this. What we didn't count on and we expected some fees, but we didn't count on what they looked like when we were doing this. And we're fundraising, and we have, as mentioned earlier, we have some tourism dollars. But there are significant expenses to do this, and we're not charging any admission. The fee to host it is $12,000 plus the site fees, and we're not looking for 100% relief. I believe we should pay some overhead, our fair share with what we can do. And I don't, as I've said to some folks, I said, I don't want to put the town in a position that every time somebody like me comes up, I'm looking for a handout. We're not. We're looking for a partnership. That's what I think is really important. And we had an amazing department head meeting planning this out. Every facet of the community is involved because we've got a little bit of a road project going on in the vicinity of the event. We're coordinating the potential need for off-site parking with various assets in town, whether it be Smuggler's Beach or another private property in the area. We're looking at all of that. We're making all of our contingencies. We have a strong relationship with public safety between the police department. We're going to require police detail 16 hours a day to manage that traffic at the entrance in 28, where we want to make sure that we're doing it well. We're talking with the fire department on what should be the proper EMS plan for the property and the event. And so far, everything is progressing forward. Simply an ask tonight is help us spread that financial burden out a little bit. I'm simply asking for, the waiving of the fees, the administrative costs for the details and the equipment costs be waived. We expect to pay the full rate of the detail rates for the police and fire if as needed, and half of the fee for the site. That's simply what we're here to ask for. I hope we have your support.
Wonderful. Is there anybody from the board that has any questions?
No, I think it's a very reasonable request.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair? I don't have any questions. I think it's wonderful, and really thanks to you for all the work that you have done to bring this exhibit here. It's an incredibly important. It's amazing to think that we're going to be hosting this wall, and for what it means, what it represents, and how we can basically honor those that served and paid the ultimate sacrifice to be able to bring this exhibit here in Yarmouth and to pay tribute to those that served is an incredible honor for us. So I appreciate everything that you have done, Jim, to make this happen and to showcase Yarmouth as a community that really cares and appreciates the service of those who answer the call. And so I think this is incredibly important for our community to do this. And I'm fully supportive of the request. And I appreciate the way in which you've approached this as well. You realize that we need to raise some money in the community and from other groups, but together as partners, we can make this happen. So I completely support your request and very much appreciate all your hard work in bringing this together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I just want to be really clear. There's a large committee involved. I'm just happen to be here tonight begging for a little bit of relief. Debbie Robinson, who is co-chairing with Barbara Ann Foley from my team, and a host of others are actually really doing the day-to-day stuff. I'm kind of out there trying to shake the trees for the financial support and all of that, but without them, this doesn't happen. And actually, Debbie's the one that brought the idea to me at the beginning. And our first conversation was, I think we should do this, and I said, where do you think we should do it? And we worked through it, and I said, I have a great idea in bringing it to Yarmouth and the Parkers River. And her and her team have worked tirelessly through every meeting. They're meeting weekly now, and these meetings are logistical and all of the things you would expect to be a good host for this event. And we've got a great partner. You can't retire either, by the way.
No, she cannot.
No. Megan has been a source of support, wealth of information, and helping us guide this through. We're still working on the dignitary list. The governor has been invited. I don't have a confirmation yet. See how that works out, but.
I'll be there. You want to put me on the list, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'm hoping all of you can make it. And we'll have an opening ceremony on Thursday, which we've given you some advance warning. We'll revisit that Friday evening, there will be a Agent Orange event, and then the final closing on Sunday afternoon at 1:30, I believe. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Dorcas, you have anything?
Mark was so eloquent, I think he pretty much covered it for us.
Once again.
I do want to say that this is kind of near and dear to my heart as somebody who was of that generation and remembering what those veterans had to put up with when they came back.
Yep.
It's does my heart good to know that we can honor them today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well said.
Liz?
Well, that was wonderful, Dorcas. Yes, I am also a survivor of the 60s and 70s. So thank you, Jim, for working with your team. And I know you're a strong leader, so I'm very grateful for your being involved. And I look forward to the event, totally look forward to the event.
Joyce?
It looks very well thought through, and I think in a town that has so many baby boomers, you're going to have lots of people attending.
Oh,
thank you.
We expect very good attendance.
Yes. I think the, well, as a daughter of a Vietnam service member, my dad served in the Marines during Vietnam, and, you know, I don't think people understand the significance of this wall. You know, I remember, and I say it all the time, I was probably 16 or 17 years old before I even knew my father was a Vietnam veteran. And I said to him, Dad, how did I not ever know this? He said, it's nothing I want to speak to my daughter about. It's nothing I want my girls to know about. And so to give people like that a place, as you know, you and I have spoke about this a little bit, and you know, it's a 24-hour memorial. It's a place where people can go in the privacy of, you know, the middle of the night where they can be alone and reflect. And, you know, I've been to the real Vietnam Wall, and if you haven't, it's extremely moving, and looking at the pictures and the mementos and the people that are able to, you know, take their pencil and a piece of paper and take that name home with them. I just feel that the fact that that's going to be in our community and allow for, you know, the high significant number of veterans that we do have. I don't think people realize the thousands of veterans that live in this community and across the Cape. I know when Quilty was here before, he was giving us those statistics, and it's overwhelming in terms of, you know, our population overall in the state of Massachusetts. And, you know, when it comes to your waiver, you know, when we first talked about it, as was mentioned in the letter from Megan, these fees weren't, you know, when you started planning, you weren't planning for these fees at that time. And we do have to cover the cost. So I'm extremely grateful that you've recognized the partnership, and we're, you know, extremely grateful for that partnership. And the other thing that you told me that I think also plays into account with this is, although you are utilizing it for 6 days, it's really only open to the public for half of that. So the fact that we're waiving half of the fees, I mean, you're paying because you need the space to set up and break down, but in reality, I don't think that it's really open to the public for all of that. So I think the 50% is more than fair. And I'm 100% in support of this, and I'm 100% in support of all the work that you do, Jim. We're just very grateful. With that,
Chair, I move that we approve the 50% reduction in fee request.
is that motion
Thanks.
okay the way that it is, Megan?
I can work with that.
Okay, great. All right.
We can work with that.
Any discussion on the motion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Look forward to the event, Jim. Thank you again. All right, discussion and vote of the hazardous mitigation plan adoption. We're a little bit early. Are you ready? Okay, great. Kathy?
Kathy's always ready.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Well, I'm hoping it won't be too complicated. As you may recall, back in February, I had given a presentation on the draft hazard mitigation plan, and at that time, you guys had agreed to move it to MEMA and FEMA for their review, and fortunately, FEMA did review it, and they have issued their approval pending adoption by the Select Board, and that's what we're here for this evening. They did have a couple changes that they wanted to make, and they're kind of highlighted in the draft that's on the town website. They just wanted some changed language in the template for the resolution and moving it to the beginning of the hazard mitigation plan. They also wanted to include a hazard profile for changes to groundwater table. They started seeing that as a hazard that we need to start thinking about. And then they also wanted us to add some more details on how we prioritized our mitigation action items, and then kind of identifying some general ideas of what it might cost. So if it's something that we're just doing, something that's handling our current budgets, that'd be less than $50,000. If something might be more of a larger project, might be $100,000 to $200,000. So just kind of giving a range to let people have an understanding of the cost associated with these mitigation action items. And then the last thing that they wanted to do is also included in there is a table of our existing capabilities, and they wanted us to identify how could we improve on those capabilities in the future. What we find as we've gone through the first hazard mitigation plan is our mitigation actions are completed and they end up turning into our capabilities in the next plan. So I kind of envision that being something similar in this one. So it's really important to have an approved hazard mitigation plan. Obviously, it always improves our grant funding opportunities and expands that. So that's something that we always like to take a look at and see how we can fund all of these great projects. So what we're really just looking for is the formal adoption of the resolution vote and signature. I have a card copy here this evening.
Excellent. Liz, do you have any questions?
I did have a question. I was looking for the revisions. I didn't see them.
Well, I kind of identified in my memo where they started. The resolution of the adoption is right at the head of the table of contents. The hazard profiles on page 48. The details prioritizing and the general cost starts on page 161. They were highlighted to beginning in yellow so people would have an understanding of what was different.
Right, but I guess the one that stands out for me, changes in groundwater. So they are asking us to, is that language that we put in, or is that language that's coming from them?
Well, it's language that came from our consultant, the Cape Cod Commission, part of the mitigation plans that FEMA puts out, the guidelines, as well as the state's climate mitigation plan as well. So it's just kind of identifying, if the groundwater table becomes too high, we may start having flooding in people's basements. We may start impacting our stormwater infiltration system, so we may get more flooding that we didn't have before, and those types of things. So just acknowledging that.
Very good.
Joyce, do you have any questions?
Oh, well, I'm glad that groundwater is taken into account. I know we have one area in South Yarmouth that has a groundwater issue every time there's serious rain. And I'd like to think that someday they would have dry basements.
I don't know if we'll get 100% dry basements in the town of Yarmouth, but we can try.
Thank you for your hard work on this, and we really appreciate it, and I look forward to proposing it.
Mark?
Congratulations. Well done.
Another plan down.
Yes.
Yes.
Did the Cape Cod Commission work with you at all?
Yes, we had a hazard mitigation planning grant from MEMA that allowed us to hire them to help us with that. And they also did Harwich's, so it was kind of good because they were doing both of them at the same time. And then we also did $7,500 worth of in-kind services from town staff.
That's good. I just wanted to just double check to make sure that we got the help that.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were great. They were great.
Thank you.
Excellent. I'm going to, before we take a motion, I'm going to actually read the resolution for the public's knowledge. So this is a resolution, the Town of Yarmouth Select Board adopting the 2026 Hazardous Mitigation Plan. Whereas the Town of Yarmouth Board recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within the Town of Yarmouth, and whereas the Town of Yarmouth has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as the 2026 Yarmouth Hazard Mitigation Plan, in accordance with federal laws, including the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief Emergency Assistance Act as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. And whereas the 2026 Yarmouth Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risks to people and property in the town of Yarmouth from the impacts of future hazard and disaster, and whereas adoption by the Yarmouth Select Board demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the 2026 Hazard Mitigation Plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Yarmouth, Massachusetts, that Section 1, in accordance with the Town of Yarmouth Home Rule Charter, Chapter 3, Section 3-3, the Yarmouth Select Board adopts the 2026 Yarmouth Hazard Mitigation Plan. While content related to the Town of Yarmouth may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require the Yarmouth Select Board to readopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan follows the approval period for this plan and will require separate adoption resolution. With that, we'll take a motion to sign and approve and adopt this 2026 Yarmouth Hazard Mitigation Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kathy.
Kathy.
You want this copy to sign?
If you want us to sign it, well, we can sign it right now.
We know how to do that.
All right. I think we do have it in the packet anyway, but just so you have it.
Yeah, and that needs to be attested by Mary Maslowski as well.
Okay, so she can watch us.
She's going to drive it down to Washington tonight.
Okay.
Mary is driving now?
All right, so our next item, while we're signing that, is the adoption of complete streets. And good evening. Are we ready? Are we prepared? I know we're a little bit ahead of agenda time. Is it okay to move forward with this, or would you like us to go to something
They look
else?
ready.
All right, ready, Freddie. Okay, let's do it. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hello. All right. Amanda Lima, I'm the town engineer.
I know you pushed it, but you might want to pull closer so we can hear you better. Thank you.
Right. Amanda Lima, I'm the town engineer, and tonight with me is our engineering intern.
Hi, I'm Justice.
Justice.
And Justice has been with us this summer, and he's helped a lot with finishing the legwork for bringing to the board tonight the complete streets policy. So I'm going to hand it off to him, and then I'm going to jump in
wonderful.
the presentation. But again, we're here tonight to talk about requesting adoption of a complete streets policy.
Mary has to sign that. Thank you.
So the Massachusetts Department of Transportation's Complete Streets Funding Program is a program that provides municipalities like ours and all across the state with funding needed to expand our roadway networks to include not just cars, but all forms of transportation. This includes, but is not limited to, emergency vehicles, freight, scooters, bicycles, people walking, and anything else you can imagine.
Horses.
Yes, horses too. To be eligible for this funding, a town must pass a complete streets policy. That is what we are here to do today. And they must pass a complete streets prioritization plan, which specifies the exact projects that funding will be used for. So there are 3 tiers to the Complete Streets funding program. We are in Tier 1, training and policy. A municipal representative has already taken a Complete Streets training course, so we're done with that. And now we must pass a Complete Streets policy. This policy is meant to provide, I'm sorry, I'm all nervous in front of you.
You did
You know
great.
what?
I was amazed. He's
Thanks
going
so much.
First of all, I just want to say to you that I was just thinking to myself how amazing it was that you had memorized your entire presentation. And how impressed I was that you were doing it so flawlessly. So take your time.
Thank you so much.
Don't
And
be
it's nice
nervous.
to meet all of you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before you go forward?
I would love to.
That would be great.
I'm a mechanical engineering student at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I'm here living with my grandmother. She lives on Cape, so I'm staying with her and helping her out while I work this job.
Well, awesome.
This is wonderful.
What's your name?
My name is Justice Huang.
Justice Wong.
Yes.
Great.
Very impressive, Justice. So just take your time. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So there are 3 tiers to the Complete Streets funding program. We're in Tier 1. The next tier will be the prioritization plan, which I've already discussed. It'll basically explain the exact projects we want to do, how we're going to use funding. And then Tier 3 is the construction of those projects. 11 out of the 15 towns on Cape have already approved Complete Streets policy, leaving just 4, including us.
And that range starts starts from 2016 when the program was implemented and through 2022.
And the yellow or notice of intent and the green are done kind of thing?
Correct.
Okay.
A complete streets policy is graded by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation's Complete Streets rubric. The grading basically points are earned by including keywords and phrases to specify the intentions of the policy. We have already graded our policy and achieved more than 80 points, so we are eligible.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the background and, you know, what we need to get to where we want to go, which is, you know, getting additional funding. It is pretty clear in regards to what the policy has to be. We've graded it at about an 86, you know, hoping that that's the score we get at. But the timeline in regards to from when, whether it be the open space and rec plan or direction from the town administrator, how you get from point A to point B isn't as clear. It doesn't spell out how much public outreach meetings you need to do. So we met with the planning board initially after Bob had sent an email over to engineering last year to kind of discuss what the outreach would look like. So over that time, you'll see on the schedule here that we went and met with the planning board initially. We kind of got their feedback on what outreach would look like. We then went to a variety of different boards and commissions. We went to the Disability Commission, the Rec Commission, and we also asked for reviews from the Cape Cod Commission and the Complete Streets program. And while we wrapped up that, we went back to the planning board with any revisions that we had received from the different boards and commissions. And then we rolled into our public outreach, which Justice has been able to really help us out with.
So we've done public outreach at the Senior Center, at the West Yarmouth Library, at the South Yarmouth Library, at the Cape Cod Rail Trail, and at National Night Out. During these community outreach sessions, before the community outreach sessions, we advertised that we were going to be doing community outreach through Facebook post. I created and published a Complete Streets website on our town page, and we also posted flyers in the libraries. During the sessions, we handed out informational pamphlets on the policy and on the 3-tier system of the funding program. We also provided QR links that link to the website where people can learn much more information, read the actual policy in full, and learn about the other towns that have already approved their policies. I also handed out surveys to community members and got a lot of important feedback on different ways that they are using our transportation networks. From that feedback, I was able to learn that driving and walking is the main form of travel from community members, with most listing lack of sidewalks as our greatest deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And that completed our community outreach. So again, it's been a journey over the last year. Where we're at now, we did get a little bit of feedback from the Mass DOT Complete Streets program, so we made that revision, and then we received a letter of support from the planning board, and then we're asking for a vote tonight to adopt this policy.
It's wonderful. This is great. You did a great job, Justice, and very impressive.
Thank you.
Very impressed. Okay, so a lot of great information there. So let's go to the board. Liz, go ahead.
Okay, I'm fully in support. I think we need to it will accomplish two things besides allowing for more modes of moving about. It will slow our driving down so that it's more of a community than a fast drive-through type of town. So I'm totally for it, and I'm glad we're going to have horses, yes.
Oh, thank you for the hard work on this. Thank you for getting the community input. As somebody who walks many places, I'm delighted to hear this. I feel it reduces the chances that my big toes will get run over at some point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm fully in support. You've done some good, hard work. I'm sure you're going to get some good write-ups going back to your professors at WPI. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Well done, Justice. When I'm in my day job, I'm usually teaching government or public administration, so I give you an A for your presentation. Well done. I fully support this. I think this is a move in the right direction for the town, long overdue, and I'm looking forward to voting in favor of it.
Great. I don't really have any questions. I wanted to ask about the feedback that you got. I think that, in the community outreach, there's some points there about different places where sidewalks are needed, and I don't know to what extent those have been incorporated yet or will be incorporated, how you're going to prioritize this policy with actual action of items.
So that would be tier 2, the prioritization plan, and the Cape Cod Commission would be able to help us with that. And there'll be a lot more outreach. They've done a lot of other efforts as well, and we've been kind of keeping track of the feedback we get. But this now will provide another funding mechanism for that tier 3, which they keep changing, but it's essentially $500,000 over a rolling 4-year fiscal year that you're able to apply. But they most recently, while we were going through this process, eliminated the need to be a complete streets policy holder for the grant. But
it's good to have it.
But we've already did all the legwork, so we might as well do that. And then I'm sure we'll get more points if you actually have it.
So what do you need from us? You need a motion. Does it need to be specific, or is it just to adopt the complete street policy as presented?
Yeah, to adopt it
Okay.
as presented, and then
So moved.
signatures.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I appreciate it. So there's a whole document in here about the policy that we've adopted, and I assume that Justice has put this on the website, our policy? Well, that is amazing. It's wonderful. Thank you both very much for your hard work, and I hope to see you again here, doing some great things for our community that we're very, very happy about.
Keep checking the job posting.
Yeah. How many more years of college do you have?
I have 2 more years.
2 more years. All right. Well, no doubt that you will do a remarkable job there, and hopefully you remember Yarmouth when you're finished. Thank you. All right. Our next item is always stop control. I don't see anybody from. Oh, are you going to do that presentation? Oh. Nobody from public safety, huh? Okay.
No, engineering.
All right. Good evening, Connor.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Connor Clifford. I'm a civil engineer for the town.
All right.
I'm Amanda Lima, town engineer, and we're here tonight for round 2. We'll wait for the presentation to come up for the Always Stop program, that Mass DOT program that they have provided. I'll just keep going through it so we don't.
Absolutely. We have it. We have it here. He'll get it up on the screen for the people at home.
That's
as soon
fine.
as
I'll
possible.
just, use a lot of information. So again, this is round 2. We've already participated in the first round. And this is an initiative from Mass DOT to improve roadway safety. And as presented previously, they believe that based on the statistics that there's a 90% decrease in injury crashes and a 71% reduction in all crashes according to Delaware DOT, and a 68% reduction in all crashes in North Carolina's DOT. So Mass DOT is taking the initiative. Again, this is the 2nd year of it. The first year that we had done was Station and Wood, and we implemented that last summer. And as a just kind of like a statistic from the year prior to converting the intersection, there was a reported 13 accidents with 7 injuries. And we're happy to report that since it's been converted, there's been 2 accidents with no injuries.
Wow.
So it's a big increase in safety for our community. And so we were really excited to participate again in it. They had selected, Mass DOT had use their crash data to select intersections within a lot of the communities on the Cape, not just Yarmouth. And the two, well, they picked 3, but the 2 that they selected to move forward are Buck Island and Townbrook, and South Street and Winslow, Willow Street. And those, historically, the Buck Island and Townbrook had 3 accidents with 5 injuries in the last year, and the South Street and Willow Street had 4 accidents with 4 injuries. So we'll be hopefully reporting next year that has.
So in terms of where we were with the other one, I mean, that was a significant number. I mean, that's, the other 2 that we're looking at are a fraction of what we were dealing with that, and that was almost, you know, the work that you did to make that one happen as quickly as you were able to because of the acuteness of what we were seeing there was really remarkable. But, you know, 13 to, you know, this is such a smaller.
Yeah. But with that being said, contract 6 for wastewater is going to be starting this fall, and a lot of the detour routes will be the intersection with Townbrook and Buck Island.
Good
So
point,
this one hopefully will be ahead of and not exacerbating the problem by adding the extra traffic.
That's a wonderful point, because that's exactly what was happening at this other intersection.
May I just ask a quick question? Just out of curiosity, Route 6A and Union Street, would that not be considered because of the fact that 6A is a state road?
Correct, yeah, they're focusing just on town intersections at this point. But we have every opportunity we get, we talk about that and Willow Street. So we do echo the concerns about those intersections.
So in terms of the, and well, actually, I'll ask my questions after. I'll let you finish, sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna hand it off to.
So there are 5 different, sorry, there are 5 different criterion they use. The always stop control warrant. They just need to qualify under one of these 5 criterion. The first one is crash experience, sight distance, transition to signal control or transition to yield control at a circular intersection, 8-hour volume, and warranty is other factors. So here's the layout of the Townbrook Road Buck Island intersection. What you can't probably tell from that image is in front of the fire station, there'll be some line paint to not block that intersection where the fire station is. The signs on the Buck Island Road will be slightly larger than the signs on the Townbrook Road due to the speed on Buck Island Road. It'll make it easier for those drivers to see. Do you want to skip to the next, Willow Street and South Street?
And also to add, there'll be stop signs both on the left and the right side approaching in all directions. And this grant, the Mass DOT pays for the signs to be delivered. The DPW town funds pay for the installation and the pavement markings.
And this is the Willow Street and South Street layout. Similar layout where there'll be the LED stop signs on either side of the street, and then a warning for the stop sign coming up as well. Skip to the next slide. And implementation after the select board, or if we get select board approval, MassDOT will order the materials upon signing the MOA. We'll coordinate with the communication team for public outreach, coordinate LED light install, coordinate the pavement markings, and estimated completion would be this fall or the following spring.
2 separate votes. I guess my question, what I was going to ask before was, you know, it surprised me that these were the 2 that were chosen. So it's not, and Connor pointed this out, there's 5 different criteria. That it's not just crashes. So is that, are there alternate reasons that these ones were chosen, or are there higher crash intersections that were passed up?
No, so the first round was, as we were familiar with Station and Wood. The other 2 intersections that were selected to not move forward were along Station Ave by Long Pond, which we've talked previously about during the corridor study. So that one is going to need, I think, more than just an always stop conversion. And then Mass DOT was actually confused on the other one, but it's either one of the ends of Studley that goes on Station Ave. So those were the, I guess, the top three, and then the other two were the ones we just discussed tonight. And Mass DOT's focus is just crashes. I believe a few weeks ago, the board had in their consent agenda, we had done site distances for Baxter and Harbor, and that one didn't meet that criteria, so that met the three-way stop for that intersection. Just given the amount of volume that does Buck Island and Town Brook is why we wanted to give a whole presentation to the board, because that would be something that people would notice in comparison to, I think we did one on Nottingham because of site distances, and we did another one, like I mentioned, for Baxter and Harbor in Hyannis Park.
I think changing patterns are such a difficult thing for people, there's the good and the bad, right? You talked about the sewer program and that a lot of people will be utilizing Buck Island. And while I'm, concerned about the speed, right, that goes through there, at the same time, the traffic flows perfectly fine, right? I feel like sometimes we create issues, it's not backed up there. And, I don't want to see us create an issue where there isn't one.
If I could add to that, the other piece that is coming in the pipeline is a traffic signal at Town Brook in 28, as part of the Route 28 corridor study, as well as no left-hand turns from Camp Street onto 28. So I suspect that this intersection will end up meeting the warrant for a traffic signal. But I think that this measure is important to do because we're going to see a lot more travel coming down, heading east on Buck Island, that's why it flows so nicely, is because our office is right there. We just watch people just fly that are heading Buck Island. They don't even take a left, like they take a Y going around, and I think that's why a lot of the accidents happen, is because there's never traffic really traveling east. We did see some traffic flow when we detoured to do the drainage on Willow Street, and we had to send everybody down Buck Island. It did back up on the people trying to turn left on Town Brook.
Oh, no kidding.
So we did see a lot of that happen, but I think it's gonna, like you said, it's kind of a balance between.
It is a balance, and I think, when I think about the two accidents that we've had at the intersection that we put the four-way stop in, I'd love to know what attributed to that, but most of it probably was attributed to just people not, it takes a long time. Like, you guys were really great about, the signs, like, okay, there's a stop sign here. When you're just going on and you've driven that road for 10 years, you forget. I mean, I remember when they put the intersection of Buck Island and West Yarmouth Road, there was a couple times that and that was years ago. Of course, it takes time to. And I feel like, especially on Buck Island, that will be, it's a change of just really behavior that takes some time. So hopefully we have a lot of things that allow it. But if what you're saying is, we're going to have stoplights there and stoplights here, I guess this is almost a baby step towards that. It's just unfortunate because, I feel like we're losing so much of our small town feel, and that's just something that we can't control.
So how much, we lose the small town feel, or we lose the small town residents? It's a balance.
I don't think I was insinuating I wanted that to happen.
I'm kidding.
Mark, did you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I've traveled through that. There was a period in time in my life when I was in that intersection, like sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and the level of recklessness in terms of the driving in that area has increased significantly. And so any measures that we can take to reduce accidents and recklessness, slowing people down in that area. I mean, I hate to see us having to do this, but I think this is a step in the right direction. Like I said, had I not spent a lot of time down at this intersection and traveling that area, I'd probably feel differently. But having spent so much time watching many near accidents, something's got to be done. So I think this is a step in the right direction.
Dorcas?
I really want to commend you on Station Avenue and Wood Road and the notification that you did in preparing the community for that being a four-way stop. I thought it was great. Warning, stop sign coming up, all of that. And I'm sure when it comes around to this one, we'll see the same in place. And Buck Island has kind of turned into a speedway, so whatever we can do to kind of, people see Yahoo 45 miles an hour, let's, hit 100. Anything we can do to slow it down, I think, is a great thing. So thank you.
Thank you for this work. I think it'll be safer because of your work. I have a question about one intersection that about 10 years ago had the most accidents in 1 year, and that's the intersection of Union Street and White Rock Road. Is that on the radar at all for the future, or are people there just realizing it's a mess because there's something that comes in to Union Street on the other side, and maybe everybody's just driving carefully there? But I think there'll be many more people using White Rock Road with the avoiding South Yarmouth while the sewering's going on.
We could look into that. We have gotten some resident emails talking about that location, and that would be very similar to the Buck Island one in regards to the change of traffic flow to have to stop on Union Street. But we could look at the crash data. And do
I
an
would echo
analysis
what
on it.
Joyce is saying as well. I've driven down there, and it's the recklessness is just amazing. And I would say that of at least of every 3 or 4 trips, there's usually a near accident that I encounter.
And Mass DOT did say that they would receive feedback from us, so I'll be sharing that.
Okay. Well, thank you for all you've done.
Excellent. Is there, do you have specific motions? Oh, here's the.
I think we haven't heard from Liz yet.
I could just make a quick comment. Just,
I can tell she's happy.
oh, yes. But I would make a comment about four-way stops, and that is that a lot of our younger drivers and maybe some of the visitors don't understand how it's supposed to work. So I've encountered it when the season is, when we're into the visitors, all of a sudden it's, who goes? Who goes? And oftentimes the car that is legitimately next goes, but the car behind them goes too. And so I don't know that the four-way stop, I don't know why. Is it not as used as much off the Cape? But it seems like a lot of people don't know how to handle it.
I think of, every time you say that, I think of going over High Bank into Dennis, that four-way stop. It's a disaster, and it backs up all of High Bank. And even though there are rules about who's supposed to go at a four-way stop,
Right.
people don't know them and they don't follow them.
That's what
so-
I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
I
that's, we have the same issue, and I'm, anyway, we don't go into, because it's a Dennis intersection. But yeah, the four-way stops, I'm not sure they're the solution that, for some reason, the DOT thinks that they, or whoever is promoting that as a crash preventative. Maybe it's a little less of an impact, but people are still tapping bumpers and so on.
And there is a comment in the memo that they had provided mentioning traffic. So the focus is safety, to that reduction.
right.
So
Yeah.
if we could revisit it. I mean, it would be hard to, have a four-way stop and take it out, but I think, as we get closer, figuring out what the numbers end up being to warrant potentially a traffic signal, that would be the way that you handle that,
Right.
that not unknowing.
Which again, it's always so sad, because now we're not rural anymore. That's hard to take. All right, thank you.
So is the motion to approve all-way stop control at the intersections of Buck Island and Townbrook Road and West Yarmouth and Willow Street and South Street and South Yarmouth an adequate motion?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I have both of those.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Mary here? Oh,
She's
hi,
here.
Mary. She is. Good evening.
Good evening again. Mary Maslowski, Town Clerk. I'm back for round 2.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming back.
Of course. So what I have for you this evening is just our standard fall elections letter. There are 2 votes that I'm requesting tonight. One is the proposed motion for the police officer assignments that came out of the 2022 Votes Act. It's the same vote that we take that I ask you to take for every election to assign back to the assignment of the police officers to the police chief in consultation with myself as town clerk. And then the second item is the ballot warrant for the September 1st state primary. That warrant is attached, and there's a draft motion in the letter to you.
Madam Chair, I hereby move that for the September 1, 2026 state primary and the November 3, 2026 state election, the Select Board hereby delegates its authority given under Chapter 92, Section 72 of the Acts of 2022 to detail a sufficient number of police officers or constables for each building that contains the polling places for one or more precincts at every election therein, to preserve order and to protect the election of officers and supervisors from interferences with their duties, and to aid in enforcing the laws related to elections to the chief of police in consultation with the town clerk.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, I move that the Select Board adopt the warrant for the September 1, 2026 Massachusetts state primary election as presented by the town clerk, and direct that the warrant be duly advertised and posted in accordance with Massachusetts general laws, the town of Yarmouth chapters, and bylaws.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. Passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. You should have a copy of the warrant in your signature file tonight. And then I would just take the opportunity to let everyone know that in-person early voting starts on Saturday, August 22nd. It will run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at Town Hall. And then we have nothing on the following Sunday, but it will run the next week, Monday through Friday, during regular business hours. So I just call that to everyone's attention. Vote by mail is ongoing. If anybody still is looking for a vote by mail ballot, they're welcome to drop it off or bring it to the town clerk's office, and we will make sure that your ballot gets mailed.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our next item is to discuss and vote on a special town meeting calendar, which is at our place. Mary is requesting a special town meeting of Monday, November 16th. My only question is, have we discussed this with the town moderator
Good question.
before we set the date?
Good evening. I did speak with Mr. Saban this morning. He will be available for the meeting.
Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so the calendar is today that we set the date. A deadline for submission of special town meeting articles would be September 4th, 2026. A final draft of special town meeting warrant would be October 6th, 2026. The deadline for submissions for Finance Committee recommendations would be October 16th. Potential meeting with the planning board, if there are zoning articles, would be October 20th. Deadline for execution of the special town meeting warrant would also be October 20th. Deadline for the warrant to be submitted to the newspaper would be October 26th. Special town meeting notice of warrant newspaper publication would be on October 30th. And the deadline for posting the special town meeting warrant would be October 30th. And that would lead us to a 6 p.m. meeting at the Dennis Yarmouth Intermediate School on November 16th. So all of these dates work backwards from the November 16th date.
I move that we accept approve the meeting calendar.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Do you have anything you wanted to add, Bob?
Yeah, it doesn't relate directly to the motion, and this is the next item that will come up on this town meeting, and we do have, another month and a half to decide this. But, we've discussed and just following up on the discussion that we had following the annual town meeting, there is the option to try to move it to the gymnasium or hold it in the auditorium. That I know that, it was discussed. You know, there's not a perfect place to hold it. The gymnasium, you wouldn't have the, you know, the vertical area, but we would have to, you know, get the chairs and set them up in the gym. But, you know, you can think about it, and we're outreaching the school to try to get the flexibility to enable the board to select either location.
I'd like to know what the capacity of the gymnasium is and how many seats we could fit on the floor. I know, Mary, you heard our concerns about the several concerns about the auditorium space.
So I wasn't able to connect with the superintendent as of yet on that. I do think the gymnasium would hold more people than the auditorium itself, even though that auditorium is about 750. It would give you the ability to use bleachers for non-residents and visitors, use the floor. I have a number of questions on it. I'm not sure how the audio-video connection, how easily IT would be able to switch that to a gymnasium from what they're used to doing now. And I also don't know whether there are a sufficient number of chairs available that the school department owns, or whether we would need to actually rent chairs in order to be able to do that. So those are all questions that I am trying to follow up on in the next week or so that I can have some answers for you long before you're ready to sign the next warrant.
So we'll look forward to those updates, and we can make the decision of where, well, it's at the school, where we specifically do it. I know that, like I said before, they do graduation there on rain dates, so they're able to fit quite a number of people. And the bleachers, can still be available to those that are physically able to
Correct.
utilize them, so.
I do believe that, my understanding is that it's quite a large middle school gymnasium. It's just if it's on the middle school side, there's a side entrance right in there. So we'd be shifting kind of our parking to the other side of the building. But it's certainly the only other option that I think would possibly work, with the exception of the auditorium.
I think it sounds great.
I have a quick question for Mary. Are we thinking also about the gymnasium at the high school?
So my understanding was that the gymnasium at the middle school was bigger. I certainly can explore both options.
Yeah, I think just in terms of availability, it was just to check it out, to make sure that if it's an option at some point. I'm all in favor of moving out of that auditorium at the middle school or the intermediate school. It's awful. And I'd rather be in a gymnasium, provided that the technology's there.
So that's my first big question, is how easily IT and Cape Media could make a switch to that gymnasium versus the auditorium that has the screen that's already set up, that has the sound connections that they can use. And my other concern, one of the concerns with a gymnasium is that you need a stage, right? So we would need to do something to probably raise you folks and the town moderator up a bit, just so that, for ease of sight lines for people in the way back. You might not need it, but, I'd want to look at it just to make sure.
I could make the comment that that's where the Orleans town meetings are, without a platform. Just a comment, because they're all, well, that's, just doesn't seem to be necessary.
Harwich is on the floor as, I mean, you were at
Harwich is on the floor as well, but we also have in Harwich, Mike Ford is the moderator, and he stands for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
So you have the person standing addressing the crowd, as opposed to everybody sitting at a table.
We'll get a stool for the moderator. How's that sound? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll look forward to an update, and we'll make a decision
So I will get
as to the location.
whatever information I can get, I will get for both you and Mr. Saban, so that we can all make an educated decision on what's best and how you folks would like to move forward.
I'm totally on record as being against going back to that auditorium. I really do. I think it's a disaster. We have nothing but problems and nothing but complaints from people who have difficulty getting in and out. And I'd rather be in the gym and DY or that gymnasium.
So I will look to see if the availability is there for November 16th, and then we'll go from there.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, so we set the calendar. Next, we have discussion and possible vote for
Did
the
you approve the
MM.
calendar yet? 'Cause
We did.
Good, thank
We
you.
voted it.
May made the motion.
I just don't know if we made the motion for it to be, I think I read the motion to be at the Dennis Yarmouth Intermediate School, so maybe we should take a new vote to set the date and leave the location
Correct, that's,
blank, because I read it here that the town meeting would be, if that's okay with everybody, can we make a new motion?
I'll amend my motion.
Okay, great. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. So the motion that stands is that we will be having a special town meeting at 6 PM on November 16th, date and space to be determined. Wonderful. All right, so next we have our MMA letters. The MMA, for people at home that do not know, is the Mass Municipal Association, and they are a group that represent the elected people of the elected boards of Massachusetts. They lobby on behalf of the towns to the state legislature. And what this is in response to some of the bills, and we asked for this to be on because it's a timely issue. The state is, and you never know what the state, sometimes the bills are introduced and put off forever, but in interest of us protecting the residents or the town, I think it was important for us to look at some of the bills that could really have an impact on our community. And I don't know if I should read all of this into the record. It's hard to surmise these bills. I don't know, Bob, if you want to take a stab.
Just to help and give a little context, I think, largely what this issue involves is a series of proposed mandates from the state that take significant chunks out of local home rule in the name of whether it's protecting housing or economic development. And it just seems very recently there's been a very large number of these mandates that were proposed. In two pieces of legislation that we're facing right now, which are the subject of the letters from the Mass Municipal Association, there's no fewer than 11 specific initiatives that have harm to local governments, especially, communities like Yarmouth. And I can just kind of go through those quickly to give you a sense of what types of threats are out there in this legislation. And we're talking about, first and foremost, in the state's proposed economic development bill, which is Senate 3178. And that includes a provision that is a new grant preference program that's mentioned in a couple of different sections of the bill. And the first one relates to Housing Works funds, which is the main new affordable housing funding program under the state's affordable housing rubric that they're proposing. Commercial conversion program participants have a preference to all of the housing grants. And we're not members of that program. We don't have an opportunity, such as cities, to participate in that commercial conversion program. And that would represent a big hardship to the community by disadvantaging the town from receiving Housing Works grants. Another very troubling zoning requirement would make duplex housing by right on all residential lots in any city or town. And we know that would be a pretty substantial hardship for our community. And, these one-size-fits-all statewide ideas, really quite dangerous in terms of not comporting with the planning that we go through. There is a secondary, again, that concept of a grant preference modifier that is tied specifically to zoning and land use policies. And so what they're saying is that any grant, not just now, the one section does Housing Works, and another section does any grant that the Commonwealth issues can be modified based on whether the town has zoning that they believe, meets with the policies for affordable housing, such as, having multifamily by right. And that would be a huge hardship for communities on the Cape. There's also accelerated timeframes for housing review. And, we know by going through the 40B process, it's often very difficult to generate the type of consensus and the information based on the applications that you get. And accelerating those timeframes just shortcuts the review process for housing. There are restricted minimums for parking on new developments. So it's one of the big, reasons that you have to have enough land to do, say, for instance, a multifamily housing. And we have the parking requirements in the zoning bylaw so that it can work on the site. And proposed in this bill is to restrict our ability to have a minimum parking standard for multifamily. So where are the people going to park? There's just no answer to that. Certain types of subdivisions that are geared towards affordable housing will be by right. And we all know, the amount of time that the planning board spends under subdivision review, under the subdivision regulations, it's tremendous. And each individual subdivision has specific, requirements. You can't treat them across the entire Commonwealth as just one thing. It's really silly. Some of the amendments in here, there's another provision in that bill that would expand ADUs by right to all residential districts. So that basically throws out all the work that the town has done for the past 5 years on the ADUs, and we have a very good bylaw at this point. And the second bill is Senate 3064, which is the environmental bill, and it does a tremendous amount of good in terms of having environmental bond bill appropriations, or not appropriations, but just authorizations that would help in PFAS and other things. But then, again, it's a Trojan horse that contains provisions that are direct mandates against local government that would exempt, for example, priority housing projects from local wetlands protection and wastewater rules. Now that's just pitting environment versus housing, and it's unnecessary, and it would be very detrimental for high resource area communities like Yarmouth. There are, other mandates in there that are non-housing related that require the town to have much ramped up waterways testing protocols that are way above and beyond what we currently do. There's another amendment that establishes minimum standards for lighting fixtures that, would cost the town a tremendous amount of money. Every light fixture would have to meet these very restrictive guidelines. And what's also happened with both of these pieces of legislation have just erupted in series of amendments that have been proposed where, each amendment tries to one-up the other one by taking, more control away from local government and establishing more mandates. And it's very alarming. And we recently, I was at the statewide managers meeting, and we did, Adam Chamberlain, the executive director from the MMA, did an excellent summary of a lot of these details. And I can tell you that as alarmed as we are on Cape Cod, there's communities across the Commonwealth that are extremely alarmed by a lot of these requirements that are just coming in, amendment after amendment, attached to these bills that do really great things. But, there seems to be a number of amendments that are really geared towards limiting local power. And, I would say our own legislative delegation is like supporting things like the duplex laws. And so, it could represent a growing threat to our community. And so I really laud members of the board for putting this on the agenda and, just bringing this up as an issue.
Great. Mark, I'll go to you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, one of the reasons why I wanted this on the agenda, and I appreciate us having this conversation, is because I think the Mass Municipal Association, I think, has done a tremendous service to all communities in Massachusetts. What's going on Beacon Hill involves a significant erosion of local control in home rule, and we're seeing this yet again. The provisions that have struck, sort of generated the most opposition are a couple of provisions that Bob had referenced. These so-called grant preferences, or these modifiers that essentially give preference to communities that have weaker guidelines that protect the environment, or zoning bylaws, or other provisions in terms of their communities' regulations that protect water resources, particularly wetlands. And essentially what it will do is, if these modifiers, they're both in the Economic Development Bill and in the Environmental Bond Bill. So there's an attempt here to try to get them passed in, if not both, either one. And from a financial management point of view, it will make Cape Cod less competitive for pursuing clean water funding. All right, so from that perspective, it will make us sort of, I mean, we've done very well in competing for clean water funds, and so this puts us at a competitive disadvantage because our standards, are appropriate for Cape Cod, and so to be penalized for protecting the environment is just something that makes no sense. And it's not just the Mass Municipal Association that has come out strongly against this language. It's virtually every other environmental group in the Commonwealth that has come out against this language. I have a letter here from virtually, the Conservation Law Foundation and virtually every other, Mass Audubon, and a host of other environmental organizations, including the Association to Preserve Cape Cod, coming out strongly against these grant modifier provisions. In addition, the Economic Development Bill has this duplex housing by right provision, which is just scary and insane on Cape Cod. It would just sort of lead to talk about a revolt on Cape Cod. Can you imagine Route 6A with duplexes up and down? I mean, talk about losing your scenic highway. So again, as Bob has mentioned, is that oftentimes when the state's trying to deal with a problem like this, they'll use a cookie-cutter approach, and they'll come at it and without any real regard at all for places like the Cape or the islands. And so the opposition to many of these provisions in these two bills, again, the Environmental Bond Bill and the Economic Development Bill, which are both in conference, the conferees are negotiating and trying to hammer out which of these provisions should stay. And so what I'm going to do when we're done deliberating, or at least put on the motion, as a motion, Madam Chair, to authorize or to go on record to strongly endorse the Mass Municipal Association's positions on the Economic Development Bill and the Environmental Bond Bill, and that we authorize the chair to communicate our concerns directly to our legislators, our legislative delegation, and any other legislator, quite frankly, that's in a position of influence on this. So that's sort of what I'm going to be asking the board to do.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that as a motion tonight.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, we'll still discuss,
Okay.
but the motion's on the table. Okay, thank you, Mark. Dorcas?
I'm very happy to see that we're going to go forward with our objections, because this is startling and scary. And after all the hard work we put in on ADUs, I mean, that's years of work. In one fell swoop, it could be changed. No, I fully support the motion.
Okay. Joyce?
It's a big concern that they seem to think that all the municipalities are the same structure and the same needs. I think this will make the difference very, very much in their vision if they pay attention to little towns.
Right. Liz?
So I, for the most part, agree with the MMA's position. But I did question the MMA supports a standardized site plan review process. I don't know that that's to our benefit.
We have, on a local level, we have a design review standard.
Right, so this would supersede that from a state
You know, I agree. I think that if there's one area where we can quibble with the MMA, is
Thank you, Bob.
that standardized is really what they're trying to do is shorten and have, again, another cookie
Accelerated
cutter.
permitting process.
Accelerated permitting. That's the way I view it.
I do too, and I don't think that that's to our benefit. So I would question going along with that. And then the other one that I think we might want to consider veering away from was Amendment Number 166, which creates a state authority to assist municipalities with the construction or improvements to public safety in municipal buildings and facilities. And I guess if it were elective, that would be fine. But I think what we kind of learned from the library experience is that when you get the state involved, while it's a helping hand, there's red tape and a layer of you're asking for more experts, and therefore it's going to cost more money. So in some ways, it adds to the cost of municipal buildings when you have this overlayer of review and assistance. So I would question that one too.
So maybe Mark will amend his motion that we go on the record to say in all cases that we support local control, or we can move from. See, the way I read the site plan review is basically, you know, I guess this is the one size fits all for those communities who don't have it and they want to supersede ours.
Oh, you're talking about the review?
Yeah. So how could we support this letter and just basically say that in all cases, you know, we support our local control over.
I think we can be specific to the letter. Answer the letter. You know, they've been very specific. So
But Mark's motion was to support this letter, to go on the record that we support this letter, so I'm trying to.
Support this letter with the
two caveats?
Comments, regarding the site plan review, and the amendment number 166. I mean, we can be very specific about those two aspects that we perhaps do not support.
So support.
What was the second one that we have an
It says
issue with?
support Amendment 166. So this amendment would study a framework to create a state authority to assist municipalities with the construction of or improvements to public safety or municipal buildings and facilities reflecting a significant need in each and every city and town.
Yeah, I think there's widespread support in the Commonwealth among municipalities to create an equivalent public building finance authority, much like we have,
Library
like
Association.
the library construction building authority, like for school building.
And that's fine if we want to keep that one. Because, I mean, ultimately, you can choose not to do it, not to take it.
Well, that's
I don't want the
Fire
help.
station coming up, I mean, that's the one big building that we don't have any grant programs for,
Yeah.
so.
So I,
Be good to
That's
keep.
not a
Are you
huge one
okay?
for me. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's the
let's,
site plan
all right,
review.
let's look at the site plan review and how can we,
well,
we can word
I'm
our.
comfortable with the language that they've got. It doesn't actually prescribe a review. They're calling for some uniform standards. And, and we have that. So I think we're in many cases, we're going to be compliant with this. I don't think that's going to be, this is going to create something that's going to create a problem for us in terms of our own standardized
I
reviews.
think her concern is that it's going to supersede our local.
Exactly.
review.
Same way the ADUs are intended to, and the two-story, the duplexes is intended to.
I just want to make sure that, and that's why I was kind of saying about, you know, we should reiterate the local control piece, because
Yes.
if, you know, in that case, we have
Certainly.
our own in place that we would that we're comfortable with, and we don't want them dictating how we design, I think ours would be more stringent anyway. What they're gonna require, hopefully, would not be, the buildings that they build.
But that's what they're trying to do, is make it less stringent to accelerate things, and that's what we don't want.
No,
I'm fine if we want to strike from my motion, support for that provision. That's
Okay.
fine, if that's acceptable.
Second to that amendment?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the amending?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, all those in favor of sending the letter as previously, as the motion states?
Aye.
In favor? Aye. Okay. I think for the people at home to recognize, I guess I'm disappointed that it's our own Cape legislator that is one of the sponsors of this bill, which really, this type of legislation, if passed, would change Cape Cod forever. We have planned for many, many years for, we're talking about today with our roads and our sewers. We did not plan for this type of growth. And while, yes, we have a housing shortage, this is not the answer.
No.
This is nothing that our roads, our infrastructure here on Cape Cod, our sewer system, or anything else, our public safety can support. So, it's alarming, to say the least. So I'm glad that we're going to go on the record with that. Hopefully that they're getting feedback from all of the communities that are, as Bob said, very surprised at this. And while I feel like they're really grasping at straws to try to solve a housing issue, this is going to create a huge amount of other issues that would not be intended by what they're trying to achieve. So our
Communities with serious water issues.
We don't have school for
Have the infrastructure.
we don't. Where are you going to educate if you had 2 houses on every lot? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Send them all to military school? It worked for the Trump family. Nope.
It's alarming. But anyway, I'm glad we're on the record with that. All right, so Joyce. Boards and
A short report this week. I'd like us to accept the resignation of Richard Trestiak from the Zoning Board of Appeals with thanks for his service.
I'm so sorry to see him go, but thank you, Rich, and yes, I heard a so move. Second? He moved out of
Second?
town.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Then one appointment this week, John Greco to the Community and Economic Development Committee for a 3-year full term that will run through July 29.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Excellent. Next, we have approval of minutes. We have August 12th,
Can we do them in a bulk?
2025. We have
Or do you need to do them
August
separately?
19th. I'm going to read them first, and then we can make a motion on all of them.
Okay, all of them?
August 19th, 2025, and August 26th, 2025.
I think it's August 26th, 2020.
That's what I said.
I thought you said
August
20th.
26th, 2025. Is there any comments or amendments to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I move we approve the minutes, August 12th, 2025, August 19th, 2025, and August 26th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Upcoming agenda review. Next, we have our agenda. We just put the dog hearing. Okay, that's already on there. And August 11th, whew, that was a big one. We're doing great, too. It's 8:10 p.m.
Congratulations,
I'm very,
Madam
very happy
Chair.
about this. I really anticipated being here all night, so.
Too. I thought
It was
it was
wonderful.
amazing.
You did? Well, so I think you should let it come. I'd eat.
Oh, there it is.
All right, so next we have August 25th, which is, we're going to have an update from Susan Warner from the Assembly of Delegates. We're going to have an update from Kleinfelder for PFAS, tentatively our Waste to Water report. We're going to disband the Drive-In Site Utilization Committee, the Library Building Committee. We're going to finalize the naming policy And we are going to approve the Board of Selectmen goals that we did in our goal-setting agenda session. And then we have September 1st, we have the Cape Light Compact, Waterways and Shellfish Advisory. And maybe when we go through our approval of goals, we'll have a bunch of other items from that meeting I'm sure that we're going to want to address. As always, we have a list at the bottom about other items that we would like to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'd like
Yes.
to pitch an item for the August 25th meeting to add.
Pitch it.
My pitch is that, and I have in front of me a letter from the Association to Preserve Cape Cod in opposition to the Forest Road housing project in the RFP that is out. The APCC is asking the Yarmouth Housing Authority to withdraw the RFP and to not go forward with a housing project. I think we as a board should go on record once again reaffirming our opposition to that project and call on that RFP to be either withdrawn or the project to be terminated.
Now, isn't that was it the unit issue? Is it too many units are in their RFP? Is that the problem for the APCC?
It's the location, it's the site.
Is that a letter that was in our
They've
packet?
identified a number of
Email.
It's in your email. Yeah, they've identified a number of issues with that project, and I think
Came in today.
Ah, no wonder. I've been in meetings today.
They said they studied the property in detail and made a determination on 2 different occasions that it's better suited for conservation than housing.
Well, I mean, I know that Liz had reached out about having a discussion on this too, so I think either way we should have a discussion. I know we got some literature from Alvio Rodriguez as well, who has been, a strong opponent to this project, but, he brings up points about votes and the initial taking of the property in the first place, and there's several votes on it. Unfortunately, we've been down this road, we can discuss and take a position, but it's not, in our authority. So it rests with the housing authority and, but.
Could we ask the administration to pull those minutes from the town meeting to bring them forward for this discussion?
Of the original transition to the housing authority you're talking about? Okay. For our discussion.
It's quite interesting when you look at Alvio's letter and see the difference. I mean, that what was intended with that 1985 transfer was something quite different and smaller and congregate housing.
exactly. The original intent of the select board in approaching town meeting in 1985, I believe, was for a smaller senior congregate housing project. That was presented, and when the Yarmouth Housing Authority decided to do something different, then a movement was afoot to withdraw the support for it. And we found out that we couldn't withdraw. The property had already been taken, all right? And so now we have basically allowed the Yarmouth Housing Authority to develop a project beyond the scale of what was originally discussed in the original town meeting. And essentially,
I just want to say before, I don't think we should put this on for August 25th. I don't think we
Okay.
should be discussing it when it's not on our agenda. I agree with
Okay.
what you're saying, but I don't want to violate open meeting law.
understood.
Can I
So,
bring up one thing about September 1st?
Yes, please.
That's the primary.
Yes, the primary date.
Is
Oh, that's the
September
election?
1st. Yep.
That is true. But we don't use this building anymore for,
Oh, why that's,
we used to use this building, so we never had elections on, we never had meetings on
I just
election
bring it
day.
up.
No, I know, I think it's good. Is there a conflict with that, Bob?
Generally, it's not a conflict legally. Generally, we try not to hold meetings on election days. That's a standing kind of a procedure.
So that is the Tuesday. Labor Day is on the 7th.
Yeah, that was the problem. I think the Labor Day, you have the following week.
So what about, who do we have, Shellfish Committee report? So we have to have 2 meetings in.
Could go 14 and
September.
28.
We've got the 15th. What about the 22nd or 29th? Does anybody have anything?
September 22nd or 29th, that's fine.
Could try to go 15 and 29.
How does everybody feel about that? September 15th
Fine with me.
and
I have
29th?
No problem with that.
Instead of the 1st?
Yeah.
That sounds fine.
All right, so we're going to move, is that okay, Bob?
Yeah, I don't know why it would be a problem. Let's,
Well, we got to make sure Margaret's available still. And other than that, it seems pretty light. No doubt several things will come in between now and then. They always do. And again, we'll be talking about our goals, so we'll probably, that'll give.
And while we're looking forward, November 16th is the town meeting. We might want to have that on there. And then,
Just set that tonight, so.
and November 17th, just for the record, I won't be here. Not that that matters a whole lot, but.
Liz. Okay. We have the 3rd and the 16th already, because we'll have a pre-meeting, so we'll see. We'll see if we need to have a meeting on that date. All right.
Could I just also, while we're talking about I would like to discuss with this group as an agenda item, having a policy in place that is for public comment, that there should be just a general policy, so it's not something that gets enacted mid-public comment. I would like to see public comments limited to 3 minutes, and I'd like that to be part of board or town policy. And I would like to also have that a consideration for board comments, to try to rein comments in to 3 minutes. But the main conversation or agenda item would be a policy that limits public comment by individuals to 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I don't support that as agenda item. I don't know if anybody else wants to put that on. I know you brought that up to me. It's always been the chair's prerogative. Sometimes there's people that need to speak more. You know, if you don't like the way the chair does it, then you should vote for a new chair.
We ran into a situation once that was with an item that was very controversial, and we had to impose the 3-minute limit mid-public comment. And some people felt that it was a decision made by the chair, and this is not a reflection on you, Tracy,
No,
it's
but
just a comment,
but just
that
so
you
you
had
know-
allowed somebody to go on longer, and that it reflected your position.
Well, I don't think so, because I think I was fair when I implemented the 3-minute rule. It was fair on both sides. That wasn't just to one side or the other, but I understand.
Would
your-
eliminate that issue in the future.
That's up to
I
the
don't
board.
think it would be a bad thing either to have people be a little bit more,
Economical with their words, yeah.
you know.
To the board. Would the board like an agenda item to discuss that?
Where we formalize the 3-minute rule.
We can call it 4 minutes
Have it as a
if you want, but-
background rule,
Yeah.
and there could be exceptions where it, you
Can't
know,
have
the
exceptions
chair
so
would make
I don't think you
exceptions
can
for
have
something
exceptions.
important.
Then why wouldn't we do it now? I mean,
agree. I don't
you-
see
you
an
can't- You
exceptions
can't,
need
if you're gonna
now.
have a policy, you have a policy that stands for everybody.
I agree with
They
that.
can't tie the hands of the chair, though.
You can if you have a board policy, that's the board policy. Right now, it's been at the,
Discretion?
yeah, and you know what? I don't think I would have done that had I known how long that would have gone on. If we had to put some parameters into it, we had a lot of people who wanted to speak. We would have been here all night. So I feel badly
No,
that.
I hear you, but I think it would eliminate that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Misunderstanding on the part of the public.
You don't have a policy and then say it's up to the chair. So right now, it's up to the chair. If the board wants to change that, we can discuss that.
We can discuss it,
But
so-
I think that limiting board members' comments is completely inappropriate.
Could
But-
be.
But that's me. So the board needs to tell us what they want to do.
Let's start with an agenda item that talks about public comment time limit.
Now, and where are we with dates that we're assigning these things? I've kind of lost track.
Do you think we could do it on the 25th?
I'd like not to do it. Does anybody else want it on the 25th? It's not up to me.
I wouldn't put it on the 25th of August?
No.
No,
All right.
no, let's bring it up when we've got
September
more time.
15th or 29th?
We're busy enough agenda as it is.
September
Somebody needs to
25th.
give some feedback here, because I've made my
I'm
position
not
known.
comfortable with it. I mean, for me, public comment has always been something that's at the discretion of the chair.
I've certainly been in enough public meetings and forums, Cape Cod Commission, for instance, and there is a time limit imposed on public comment, and it's not untoward.
Again, if you want to,
Discuss it at least.
well, it's up to the board whether they want to discuss it.
I don't have a
right?
problem talking about it
There you go.
at all, so let's
Sure, let's discuss it.
find it.
Okay, so
Let's have a
we'll find a day
conversation.
for that, Bob?
Certainly.
All right.
Thank
You
you.
folks glad you stuck around?
Now you're seeing government in action.
This is your government, we work for you.
Hard.
Well, we're
Thank you.
supposed to.
I think that's it on the agenda items.
Great.
The only other thing I have on the agenda, real quick, is, since we've been talking about it, can we have our state legislation back in to talk a little bit? We've got
There you
some
go.
scary things coming up.
That's a good idea, Dorcas.
Oh, we sort of don't have,
The timing of that
yes.
is
Will be
is
November.
the issue, all
Let's-
right?
let's do it
So
in
we'll have to
November.
do that after the elections.
Yeah, November.
Yes.
Yeah,
And let's, because we're going to have someone new,
yes.
all right, as a state rep, so we might as well get them in after the election. That's what I would recommend. I'm with you, yeah.
We're waiting until November, I mean, that's still a long time away, but, all right,
All right.
All right.
I'd rather see him here.
I know, but
You're not going to have
Well, the
time.
thing is, just think about it. We're going to definitely want the new one to come in,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, I'd invite him to come on his own, him,
You know,
her.
she's right, really. What we're talking about is Mr. Sear.
I have no objection. I just think that as a matter of timing and courtesy, I think,
Okay, because
after
he
the
is up for
election.
election. Okay. Individual
I
items.
have no problem with people meeting with reps individually. Call them up.
Call him up. He's actually going to be in P-Town August 29th.
Getting a phone call.
great. Individual items. Mark?
My individual item, I'm going to just expand just a little bit further on the Forest Road housing project, because my hope is that when we discuss it on the 25th, my hope is that the board will continue to be unified in its concerns about the project. We have offered on numerous occasions to try to find a compromise. What I'd like to do, if possible, is maybe reach out to the APCC if they have got information about the unique conservation benefits of this site. I think it would be helpful to have that information. And maybe, if it's okay with the board's permission, maybe invite them to come if they'd like to maybe say a few words regarding their position within 3 minutes. They could do it within 3 minutes.
He could. He
but
will.
if-
Andy can talk fast.
yeah, and I'm happy to reach out to do that, or we could do that through the administrator. But I think revisiting this, I think, is going to be very important. I do think housing, I'm very worried and very concerned about what's happening at the state level, this attempt to circumvent home rule. I think it's very, very problematic, and I think, quite frankly, it's going to be counterproductive, because I think it's going to generate significantly more opposition and sort of almost a baked-in opposition to developing affordable housing. I really do. I think I sense a growing distrust and concern about the level of sort of heavy-handedness from Beacon Hill. And that worries me, that troubles me. I mean, the reality is that success in affordable housing, a lot of it really rests on our shoulders. And I think, quite frankly, these attempts to sort of Beacon Hill imposing its will on communities,
Blanket.
I think is going to undermine local support for affordable housing. I think these are all moves in the wrong direction that make it very, very difficult. And then the other thing is with respect to the Forest Road project, I don't think housing authorities or any other organizations developing housing should go beyond and ignore the will of the people. And I think that's part of the dynamic with this project. Is town meeting has spoken before on that project, and this project is going forward almost in complete disregard of town meeting. It's going forward in complete disregard of our attempts. Our administrator has reached out on numerous occasions to work with them, and so I just think that in Yarmouth, the climate is changing in such a way that makes affordable housing much more difficult, and that's something that's very concerning to me. So that's my item, so I got that off my chest. Thank you.
Great. Dorcas? All set.
I'd just say that a thing that keeps pressing on my mind is that 46 years ago, when there was that 1985 town meeting, we all knew less about water and the water issues than, and I think that's a point worth pushing. The one thing I would like to say that I'd love to see us emphasize in the fall as we're heading into the cold weather is anything we can do to foster community spirit and community activities. I mean, that was just great at the night out. That was just wonderful to see all those people coming. And now that the Yarmouth Dennis baseball season, ended 2 games short, it would be lovely to have, some gatherings that people could come to and just be comfortable at and bring kids if they wanted and handicap accessible, but have people get a sense of each other as members of the same community. That's kind of vague, but I feel strongly about it.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm just trying to think of opportunities that, where that's.
National Night Out was
National
one of
Night Out
those.
that's, every community does that, and the police sponsor that.
The Wallet Hills
That
will
will be, yeah.
also provide that.
Yeah, let's think about that, Joyce. I know we always think about that, but I don't know what we can do. We'll task that to Bob.
Yeah, it's
I know Bob does a great
ball
thing
rolling.
for staff, right? Like they do a summer barbecue usually.
We're going to do in early September our staff barbecue, and we're going to need select board members to help us put that on and enjoy it. So
That's a great thing for staff, but, and you're just in a broader sense of the community, we'll have to think about things. I know that,
And I'm willing to, put in some work on it if we think of something that would be
I just think we need to find different opportunities where we can be out there. I've talked about us being out, Mark and the county commissioners, they've gone, out and about in town, and, maybe I would love to have
Select board used to move around.
select board meetings at alternate places. Maybe we go to Thurwood Place, maybe we go to the senior center, maybe we, in advance of a meeting, we have, just some meet and greet time at the senior center for the public, things like that where it's informal.
Fun, even.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to showcase the things that we have. I mean, I'd love to take our show out to Gray's Beach and show all these wonderful things.
Now we're talking.
Maybe we do a
At
meeting at
Sunset.
Parker's River. Yeah, I mean, there's there's a lot of technicalities with the way we need to be broadcast, but
long as I can
I don't
bring
think getting
Sophie.
out from behind this table and letting people
With our dogs.
know who we are and what we're trying to accomplish and the things that we're working on and have just a more of an informal place. I mean, obviously, we have to be careful about making sure our meetings are posted and all of that, but I definitely, think there's value in that. So I'm not sure how we can do it, but let's work on it.
Yeah. One little nugget I took away from that, little seminar that Mary gave for the chairs of committees was that, that's probably different because we're the select board, but the committees did not have to be videotaped. Now, I assume that's different probably for regulatory versus non-regulatory, but she was saying that, not all committee members, not all committees' meetings have to be
Ours don't either. We
broadcast
have
or
workshops at times
recorded.
that they're not recorded. We have to take minutes. We have to be accessible to the public. We have to meet in a posted meeting, but to say that every one of our meetings have to be televised, we don't have to do that as long as we follow the law. So, I mean, maybe we do go out to Parker's River Landing and have open, you know, we say it a lot too, you know, leading up to town meetings, you know, like having, going through the warrant, just having things like that, maybe in an informal meeting somewhere else, we try to do those kinds of things, but,
And we could see if people invited us to their neighborhoods, or not.
I got a question.
it's not that we can't take public at this point, I'm sorry.
Write it down.
Know about the boardwalk over at Grace Beach.
I'm sure that Bob will give us an update. I know they're working on it currently, so.
You could catch Bob at the end of the meeting to ask him.
Do you have any other items, Joyce?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, Liz?
I wanted to sort of, it follows with the discussion about what we can do. After our goals meeting at Simpkins Residences, I have reached out to the management agency and asked about being able to use that auditorium for a performance. Unfortunately, and Amy Harwood has also given me directions as to getting a license and a permit to use that as in as much as it's a town property. But in the interim, the Flack family, Susan and Stephen, who were here, have announced their son's wedding in Brazil. So they are not going to be able to, we won't be able to pull together a presentation for the 250th that we had thought we would be able to do again. But the space is available, and so you're talking about maybe events, and Parker's River Landing is great, but that auditorium, I think I'm going to be looking into things that we can do that talk about the town. And we can stage stuff or do readings or just to use that space as a performance space. I'm going to try to bring that up forward. The other thing, we talked about it, and I'm not sure how to look into it. Grills at Parker Rivers Landing, is that even, how would we, or do we even want to bring that up, Bob? What do you think?
Oh, that's already come up once.
Right, and I don't remember how it got resolved.
Fire department might
Yeah,
have
the
things to say about
grills
that.
aren't allowed at that facility.
Yeah, and they couldn't be.
No.
Okay.
No, the fire department, I think, would have.
That answers that. The other question, and it's probably, again, process. We got a letter from, I don't know, because Mary Alice forwarded it. It was a letter regarding ongoing parking on a small wooded town-owned park area in South Yarmouth, bordered by Witchwood Road, Captain Bacon Road, and Captain Nickerson Road in Captain's Village. And people are parking there and leaving their cars, going to the beach, and even overnight. And they have applied for a special permit to get a structure on our property. I think what they're asking for is, could we have a big rock to avoid people parking in that area? And it sounded like a wonderful natural solution. So,
Town-owned property?
yeah, apparently.
I mean, usually those letters go to, would that go to DPW or engineering?
We sent it over to
Okay,
DPW
so
and the
we'll-
police,
so it's
and we're waiting
process.
back to get a.
So we're awaiting their reply on that.
Good, thank you. That's them's my items.
Okay.
My
In
only item-
residential areas, is there a rule against overnight parking? I mean, daytime parking, I don't know, but
Well, this is town property.
I wonder that because when our house was being lifted and we were having, all sorts of construction done, there was a lady no longer with us who lived on the parallel street, actually across our fence, who would steadily call the police every morning that our car was over there, but we had to put it over there because of all the construction stuff in the front. I never looked into whether she was legally right or not, but that would be maybe a good thing to know heading into this, if overnight parking is not even allowed
On public property?
on residential areas, public streets.
This is a
I would
this is
think
a
that would be-
town property.
That would be stern and strict, but if it exists.
I think that's a,
That's a police department.
yeah, I mean, we can find
I
out.
was just figuring somebody here might know, because I truly don't know.
I mean, people park on streets all the time. I think that
Yeah,
would
the
be a
police-
difficult
More
thing
for
to.
like- That's more like for emergency snow removal or something like that when they come through and say no overnight parking.
The only thing I wanted to...
I always suspected the lady across the fence maybe wasn't quite up on what she should call the police about.
I think there's a lot to do with that with public safety too, as long as there's egress, it's not impeding traffic. I mean, I don't think that there's a cut and dry answer to it, to be honest. Because in some places, it's probably completely appropriate, in some places, it's not, I don't know. Bob can get a response for that.
Do you want a motion to approve the?
No, because I have been trying to get to my...
Oh, sorry.
I have an individual item, as Joe Glenn had said at the beginning of the meeting. Joyce and I had attended the school committee workshop yesterday for the regional agreement, and they made a motion to ask the superintendent to come back on they have an August 31st meeting scheduled, and then they will vote on the makeup of a subcommittee as well as a charge of the subcommittee to review the regional agreement. So that was
Excellent.
the only update that I wanted to give. I don't know if, Bob, you wanted to, we'll wait, I'll let you do that. Okay, so let's move on to the consent agenda. In the consent agenda, we
I
have,
move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Joyce had asked, we had a discussion about Bob's employment agreement the last time it was here, and her recollection was one particular date, and in this amendment here on the consent agenda, it goes, so the term of the agreement shall be extended by the period of 1 year until April 5th, 2028, with all compensation and benefits to remain in place for an additional term at the current level, except in provision B. And provision B, the town agrees to grant the town administrator a 5% merit step increase at 5% cost of living effective April 5th, 2027. So that's the only change on that. That was also in the consent agenda, but we will vote on that individually. All those in favor of approving the amended contract for the town administrator?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay.
And apologies for that.
No, it's fine.
There were the two paragraphs, and I looked where the thing was with the step increase, with the, with 1 year's end, and in fact, I thought that was, well,
I didn't have it in front of me, so we couldn't say, so we've got it all rectified now. All right.
Excellent.
And then next we have a proposed rent schedule for affordable housing. I guess these are all on the consent
already
agenda.
approved,
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we're moving right along. We approved all of those. Donations were accepted. Informational items in the packet are blood drives, and we're hiring. So if you're looking for a job, please go to the Town of Yarmouth website for information. And Bob, take it away.
Okay, I thought we would start with a beautiful picture.
There it is.
There's the barge out there as we speak.
I saw it the other night.
Fixing the Grays Beach Boardwalk. Big project. I know people like to think it's just to get out there with a hammer, but no, this was a big one.
Big hammer.
And
Wait
it's
for the
going to be
tides.
finished. It's going to be finished soon. They're working as fast as they can on it, but we want them to do a good job. We hope we don't have to come back next year, but
When's the estimated completion date?
60 days, 60 days from the signing of the contract, so hopefully it's the end of August.
Hope was the end of August. Completion hopefully by the end of August.
Okay.
Thank you, Amy.
okay.
Well, you don't usually see at Grays Beach.
Drone.
And a couple of other quick items. We reviewed the agenda at the next meeting. You'll be reviewing the draft goals for the select board, and I really want to congratulate the select board on your efforts. I know it takes an entire, weekend to give up to really focus on those goals, and I have some draft materials that I'd like board members to start reviewing, and I'll pass these down, and they'll be on your agenda for the 25th, but I think this, went back, had some detailed notes, and sort of reflects what the discussion was. I, even tried to use the exact wording that board members use. So if anyone has any, feedback or comments, feel free to pass those along, and we'll have this on for discussion at your next meeting. But I wanted to make sure that you had ample time to go over and review that material. A couple of quick items. I wanted to let board members know for just an update on the Margaret E. Small School Building Committee. The school department has selected their project manager, PMA Consultants, LLC, which I had occasion to interview them along with several of the other finalists. And you're familiar with this company. They're the company that was the project manager for the middle school, highly qualified company. I think they'll do a great job for the town, but it looks like PMA's coming back, and hopefully they'll hit the ground running. I wanted to mention just a little bit about a little field trip.
I was just going to ask you if you were going to talk about our field trip.
We took the chair and I last Wednesday, August 5, traveled to Chelsea for a hearing at the ABCC on the board's decision on the J-Mart, and I just wanted to, publicly make a huge thank you to Select Board Chair Tracy Post. It's a very difficult process when you go to the ABCC because if you look at the statutes, what the statute specifically says is in order for a decision of a select board to be overturned, you have to prove that it's arbitrary and capricious. And the attorneys that try to prove you're arbitrary and capricious, what they try to show is that the town is irresponsible, out of control, not logical. And frankly, it's a process, especially for those of us that aren't used to being on trial in criminal court every day. It is invasive and rude. And you subject your public officials to, really a process that is completely unfair. And the ABCC has, they don't really have the rules of evidence that a normal court would have, and so they had grant broad latitude to these attorneys that essentially insult local officials. And I just want to say I was never so proud of the chairman and her efforts. We were represented by our counsel, and it made the town's case
Give him hell, Tracy.
very clear.
I didn't give him hell. I didn't really have the opportunity to answer questions that were repetitive and duplicit and rude.
Harassing.
Rude. But, I'm there on behalf of the town, so I'm very cautious to make sure that we keep our composure and be professional. And, it's actually a good thing for me to go through, because as the licensing chair, you reflect a lot upon to make sure that you learn the rules and regulations, and, you answer the questions. Some of them were about, whether or not we took evidence into the public while the public record was open, and things that, I just need to make sure that I educate myself, so that way we protect the town, and this board has good guidance. So some of the things make you question to make sure that you're following proper procedures. And I felt like in this particular case, we had learned from our first field trip, and we were very careful to make sure that we followed all the procedures. And I was very clear, because we had learned the last time that we had to enter our either opposition or pro, our rationale for it into the record, which we did. And the ABCC hearing person watched the entire hearing at this field trip last Wednesday. So they saw firsthand that we weren't arbitrary and capricious in our deliberations. So I felt like the town did a good job. You never know. And this particular case was a little bit tricky, because there was what we felt was lack of notice that we found out after the fact for the abutters, you had mentioned in the meeting that you were surprised that the abutters weren't there, and there were neighbors that were direct abutters that were not noticed that came forward after. Bob tried to rectify that by offering another hearing. They denied. And that abutter actually showed up at the hearing in Boston, so we're very grateful for that. And, you know, we tried to get them to understand that scenario, which is complicated because of the three-lot situation. And so we'll see. I have a feeling in that regard that it might be remanded back to us, but in any event, even if it was, I think that we were solid in our deliberations and our rationale for the denial. And, you know, unfortunately, when they watched that meeting, they got to watch us talk about how we were waiting for the other decision and how it had been a year and a half, and we can't believe it took us that long. And they were watching, and I was just sitting there. A little awkward. Whoops. So they heard us kind of talk about them a little bit. So we don't know how long it will take this time.
Sounds like they'll get their results to us faster this time.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this up, Bob. I'm sure you did a great job, Tracy. Thank you.
All day at fair.
Bob did great, and Pear from Tellerman and Mead.
Oh, from Mead Teller, yeah, he's
He's
good.
He reiterated it, and I think he did a great job. They allowed some flexibility in having a final summation, I guess, of the hearing and
Their briefs.
their briefs on the hearing, so that will be submitted shortly, and so that the record's still open. And we'll see what happens. I did the best I could, but Bob also testified, and
We didn't get lost. That's the good news.
And meanwhile, that project is under construction, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Supposed to open
Oh,
very soon now.
It doesn't impact the project.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it has to do with the sale of liquor,
Yep.
so.
And finally, I wanted to let board members know that this week, Thursday, August 13, our finance director, Jen Mullen, and I will be putting on a municipal finance workshop for our finance committee. We've got a number of new members and interested members, and so we're going to cover all aspects of municipal finance, and that's going to be here at Town Hall at 6 p.m. So if any board members are around, stop in.
When is that?
But-
August 13th?
That's going to be the 13th. It's Thursday, and so we'll be going over all of the principles of finance that govern our budgeting and decision-making process. We think it'll be a great session, and it'll be a good kickoff. Where also I want to acknowledge Amy Frigiletti here as well. We were meeting today. We've got the capital improvement program kicked off now, and department heads are entering into our web portal the various projects, and so this will be a great, working with the finance committee also to kick off our whole financial process. And as soon as we, here it is, middle of the summer, we just got through town meeting, we're kicking off the FY28 budget process and the CIP, and as soon as we get that done, we're going to jump right into the annual budget. So it just seems that, back in the older days, there was a little period of time that between,
Could take a breath?
yeah, and now we just closed the fiscal year, and we're starting up next year. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
So,
They call it what? It's like being in the military. You get like, you get a one-year tours, like on your, how many 1 year tour now? How many years you been doing this?
42, I think.
42nd year tour.
Yeah.
Well, we're grateful,
So
because.
you're not experienced,
Right,
Bob.
I was gonna say, we benefit from that experience.
What time did they?
So that's all I have for tonight.
Wonderful. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any discussion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Recording stop.